Welcome, everyone, to the final stop of the Rangers Ed Rivalry Tour. This week, we are talking Rangers and Pittsburgh Penguins. This should be a good episode. I know the Penguins have had a rough go of it, but they are a rival of the Rangers, and there's some interesting connections between the Penguins and the Rangers. So, looking forward to getting into it. This is your host, Cousin Ed. I'm here with my co-host, Little Ed, and Coach Ed, and our producer, PJ. What's up, boys? How's everyone doing? Coach, you got the same shirt as me, but blue instead of white. We didn't plan it. We didn't plan it. What's going on?
Ryder Cup. You got the Ryder Cup weekend this weekend, folks. I'm sure you've seen a couple of posts that put on there with me and exciting stuff. I was there all day, saw some good action, and I'm getting excited.
Catherine Zeta-Jones.
I was getting crazy.
Yeah, tell us who you met.
Hanging out with all the celebs at Garden City Hotel. So, yeah, why don't you tell everyone?
Little Kane Brown.
You couldn't wait to tell me last night on the phone. I wanted to save it for the show. Now you're quiet.
Oh, well, I didn't know you guys want how long you wanted me to go. But I'm doing transportation volunteers. So I'm at the hotel where the players and celebrities are staying and their families and anybody related to the Ryder Cup is at the Garden City Hotel, and it's closed to anybody else, no outside guests. So it's a big deal going on right now out in Bethpage, Long Island. And I ran into Kane Brown. He played in the celebrity tournament this morning and was kind enough to take a pic with me, a selfie, and hockey related Teemu Selanne was very interesting. He actually had a little conversation with me, didn't hesitate, took a nice selfie, and it was a lot of fun.
What did you talk to Teemu
about? A bunch of ex-golfers, old-time golfers that most people probably wouldn't know, but I was excited. And Strahan walked in, Catherine Zeta-Jones. It was quite the spectacle.
Wow.
Damn. So what'd you ask Teemu about or talk to Teemu about?
I told him I got the autographed puck in the silent auction when we were up there. And I was just talking to him about golf. He's always on that celebrity tournament out in Lake Tahoe. He does real well, and talking about what the little tournament he was going to have today. So just shooting the breeze like two regular guys. Only someone's in the Hockey Hall of Fame and someone's not.
One of the last great nicknames in the NHL, Finnish Flash, for Teemu Selanne. That's one of the.
And he's not
now it's just like Chucky. You know, it's like Chucky. You know,
I thought like his legs would have been stronger and stuff. He wasn't like overly built, but what a nice guy.
I mean, Coach, he's been retired for how long?
He's lean
15
now.
Years?
Yeah, I guess.
At least
he striped him down. He striped him down the middle today.
Yeah,
first tee was cool.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah, he's a pretty good golfer. I mean, I think he's, from what we hear, or from what I hear, he's pretty good at everything. On every podcast you hear about him, so that's super cool. Yeah, I mean, Coach, like if you guys are just tuning in, Coach Ed is volunteering at the Ryder Cup this week, and I met a bunch of people yesterday, so we'll get a lot more content on social media and some videos of the course. Everything looks beautiful. Love that it's like
insane. What they did there is crazy.
All the merch is insane. All the hats Coach Ed sent me today. So I gotta decide which ones I want, not which one, just which ones I want. You know, so the selection was pretty large. It's gonna be very difficult just to pick one. So 2 is definitely gonna have to happen. Awesome. Yeah, all the USA merch is out. Do they have all the Europe merch too, or is it just USA merch?
No, they have European too. Yeah. All the shirts are both.
Yeah. So Coach Ed's decked out in Ralph Lauren this week. Some designer clothing.
Required. I don't purchase it.
What do you
personally?
What are you volunteering though? What are you doing for volunteering? Transportation.
I'm actually transporting from the Garden City Hotel. I did an airport pickup. I took one of the players' nannies and the baby to Whole Foods supermarket and waited outside while they food shopped.
It's like it's like the Seinfeld episode. If you like, didn't they? Right?
You're pretty much in the hotel and you're on call, and the girl who runs it, if like a player wants something or to go somewhere or anybody, they come up to her. They said, "I need a ride at so and so time." Blah blah blah.
Did you get vetted for this? Did they get in a car with you and like observe your driving ability?
Show my driver's license. What do you want?
That's it. No, I
Do a
don't.
background check.
Oh, all right. They
Who-
just
what
they
car
go
do
to
you
the-
use?
I had an airport pickup yesterday.
You don't use your
Scottish-
car.
No, BMW trucks.
Yeah, with all
Wow.
the tools and scrap wood in your truck and the hockey stuff. I don't know if that
He got
would
a new
work.
he got a new coach got a new truck recently.
Got a new
Oh,
A lot of
wheel.
good
all
things
right.
happening to coach recently.
Wow,
Yeah,
coach.
it's a good week.
Awesome.
But Monday's
That's
going to
cool.
be an eye opener. Back to work.
That's fun. That's great, though. I'm glad
But,
you're doing that.
yeah.
You're around all those people. That's
Yeah,
fun.
very exciting. I don't know if people realize it, but try to tune in this weekend. It's going to be a great atmosphere. It's obviously in New York. It's the first time ever the Ryder Cup's been in New York, and it's Bethpage Black and the whole history behind that. Very exciting. Once in a lifetime.
Awesome. Well, I think that we shouldn't delay any further. We should bring our guest on. But before we do, I'd like to tell everybody this episode and all episodes are presented by Lucarelli Law. If you're in Florida and need a lawyer, make sure you call Lucarelli Law and tell them the boys at Rangers Ed sent you. Let's bring on Nick Belsky from the Tip of the Iceberg podcast. What is up, Nick? Welcome back to the Rangers Ed podcast. Thank you for joining us.
What's going on, guys? Thank you so much for having me back on. I'm happy to be the least famous person by several country miles that Coach Ed has talked to today.
You and me both. Actually, in the last week, I've had a string of good luck going on, right?
Yeah.
After the Allentown trip, and then I met someone the next day too. Who did I meet the next day? It was crazy. It's just one day after
The ex-giant.
Was it Rodney Hampton?
Oh yeah, Rodney Hampton. I met in the bar that Sunday. It was like one thing after another, crazy stuff. But Nick, I got to say, I don't know if I told you last year, but that's like the perfect hockey name, Nick Belsky.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't have to shorten it at all. It makes it very easy
Great,
for
yeah.
people to give the nickname.
Yeah, it sounds like your name is
great-
Nick Bells.
great
They just
hockey
call you
name.
Belsky, you know?
Yeah. It's already a nickname.
Sounds like that. It sounds like that show, Shorzy.
Hey, listen, if I could have half the success those boys have had on that show, I'd be very happy.
Hysterical.
So what have you been up to? You're still doing the podcast, right? The Tip of the Iceberg.
Yeah.
What else you got going on?
Yeah, still doing the Tip of the Iceberg, and just recently moved back to Pittsburgh. Last time I talked to you guys, I was in DC, but moved to Pittsburgh and now working for Sportsnet Pittsburgh, who's the television provider for all the Pens and Pirates games down here. So getting to work with them a little bit and just try to pump out content in as many different ways as I can.
That's great. What are you doing with them?
Helping on the production side, and as we're all here, on the podcasting side and the YouTube side as well.
That's great. Awesome. Congrats.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, I'm not surprised. You do a great job. And like I said, when we were off the air prior to the episode, you are, a great guest and very knowledgeable and objective podcaster when assessing your team. Unlike me, sometimes you're pretty objective. So let's talk Penguins. Not a great year for the Penguins last year. Kyle Dubas, I think that was his second year as GM, if I'm not mistaken.
Mhm.
Correct me if I'm wrong. He's been trying to reshape this roster, some older players, some bad contracts, hard to move guys. Just give me your general assessment of the year last year. Did you expect that? And, are you okay with it? Where are you at with the Penguins situation right now?
Yeah, I think anybody who looked at the moves going into last year kind of had the understanding of, oh, this is not going to go well. When your star signing of the offseason is Anthony Beauvillier, it's not a good forecast of things to come on that side of things. So I think we all knew once Jake Gensel was traded at the tail end of Dubas' first year that was a sign of, all right, we're going in a direction here, and it's not upward. So seeing what happened last year, it's a necessary evil. Every team goes through it, and it stunk to watch. It was hard to watch, some of the stars that have had so much success in Pittsburgh have to go through a third consecutive season without a playoffs, and this time not missing it by a point or three. They missed it by a large margin. So it was a tough season to watch, and, you have to just think they'll be better for it in the long run.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned the stars, Chris Letang, Evgeny Malkin, Erik Karlsson, and of course, Sidney Crosby, really the big ones after the Gensel deal. Three of those guys seem to decline pretty hard, Right. Crosby, I mean, the guy is just ageless. So I don't know. Is he ever going to decline? I think he'll just score 90-something points until he's like 42 and then retire. I don't know. Doesn't
He's a
seem like
freak. He's a freak show. And I was up at training camp this past weekend, and you watch him and you're like, Jesus. Like, he's still a freak show. I understand at training camp he's going up against 18-year-olds in some instances, but, you know, it looks like it should whenever Sidney Crosby is going up against an 18-year-old at the age of 38 still.
Well, that's when it should get harder for someone his age to go against the younger kids. I mean, I went to pick up hockey recently with my buddy, and I thought we were expecting all older guys, and there was a bunch of college kids running around, you know. So I think the biggest thing about Crosby is that he like always adapts. You always hear that he's adapting and finding new ways to keep up, you know, like he knows he's going to lose a step in speed, so he gets better at protecting the puck, or winning the battles down low, or scoring close to the net. You know, like he's just amazing. You always see him just working on things, and like you always hear that he's the last one off the ice. You know, like you can go on and on about the guy, of course.
Yeah, I mean, you hear those stories constantly, and it gets to the point where you're like, yeah, I know, I've heard the story before. It's been 21 years of this story, but
just told a different way.
But you keep hearing it, and you're like, okay, so in year 21, that's the takeaway, is in year 21, he's still doing it as if it was year 5 and he has 1 cup, or if it's year 2 and he doesn't have anything to his name yet besides all the hype. So the fact that he's going into year 21 and he continues to put in that work, and he continues to show everybody just how much it takes to be a player of that caliber is always something that you really appreciate watching.
I saw an interesting clip. You probably saw it, Nick, because it's probably all over your stuff. But some reporter asked him, like, I don't know if it was last year or this year before training camp, you know, what do you feel about the team? You're going to have to, you know, take a step back to develop the team, blah, blah, blah. He's like, I play to win every night.
Yeah.
He goes, there's no such thing. And he just like looked at the reporter and he just said, I play to win every time I step on the ice. He goes, there's no, we're just going to concede this because we're developing. We're playing to win. I just thought that was an interesting. I was never a big fan of his, obviously as a Ranger fan, but in the latter years, I've come to like appreciate his attitude for the most part.
I was going to say that. I was going to say that officially, as now we said it last year, but I was going to say it again. But you just took it. You're right. Yeah,
that was actually during the season ticket delivery that they do down here, which is essentially the first time that Pittsburgh media gets to talk to Sid, because the rest of the summer he, you know, does what he does. He goes into the shadows and says, please just leave me alone for about 4 months. That's all I ask, is leave me alone. But no, it's him saying that, again, it goes to show just the type of player he is. And it makes me think of I wish I could remember where I heard it first, but it makes me think of a saying that, listen, general managers tank. Coaches and players, they do not, because the second they have that mentality, they're the ones getting cut. So the coaches and players never tank. I shouldn't say never, rarely tank. But general managers, on the other hand, you know, we mentioned Dubas already. I'm not going to say he's tanking, but he's definitely not, as Elliot Friedman said all summer, he's not actively trying to make this team better immediately.
Well, just because
he said they're the only team not trying to win this year. That's what Elliot Friedman, which is crazy.
Yeah,
it's true. He's obviously tanking, dude. I mean,
well, just because Crosby said it to the reporters, he doesn't want to be asked anymore about it, doesn't mean we can't ask you. Do you think it's as obvious that Crosby's not going anywhere, or do you think there's always that little chance?
We had this discussion a couple weeks ago, whenever obviously all that stuff came out about the NHL Player Media Tour and what he had to say there and what his agent had to say. I always come back to one thing. Until I hear it expressly out of Sidney Crosby's mouth, I'm not going to believe it. So, you know, and he's never going to come out and say, all right, trade me right now. But until I hear a report of him directly saying, like, yeah, I'd like to go somewhere so I could finish on a winning team, I'm not going to believe it, because we just saw it. It was his agent that said it. And Sid's like, I had no idea he was going to say that. So Crosby is somebody who, when it comes to that, feels like he keeps that to basically himself and maybe his wife, and that's it. So with all of that, it feels like 20 years of him saying, I want to finish my career in Pittsburgh. I want to finish my career in Pittsburgh over and over again. until I hear something different from his mouth, I'm going to just believe him and take him at his word that he wants to finish his career where it all started in 2005.
What do you think of that, though? I mean, obviously it's a personal choice. I mean, we kind of went through this as fans with Lundqvist when the Rangers were rebuilding towards the end of his career, and he wanted to stay with the Rangers through the rebuild. So we just experienced this as fans, but I think a part of me was always like, why? Like, I get it. You want to play with one franchise your whole career, but the team is obviously not going to win, not trying to win at the current time. So you're just accepting 82 games and go golfing. I find it hard to believe someone as competitive as Crosby, like Lundqvist, also a very competitive guy. I can't wrap my head around that. I guess you have to be in the situation, to really decide it. And he obviously loves Pittsburgh and all those things play into it. I get that, but as you kind of want him in the playoffs, right? I mean, I don't know.
Oh, yeah. I mean, everybody can agree that the playoffs are better when Sidney Crosby is in it. And it doesn't need to be the Penguins. It needs to be Sidney Crosby. And we all kind of got a feel for that last year when he was in the Four Nations. I mean, that first game, it was him and Lemieux were the figureheads in that game. There was other great players. There was other best players in the world on that ice. Connor McDavid was out there. Nathan McKinnon was out there. But it was Sidney Crosby's ice because Sidney Crosby was on it. And that's what he does in big moments. And that's what he does in the playoffs. And any hockey fan would be lying to you if they said, you know what, I'm fine with Sidney Crosby not being in the playoffs. It'll be fine without him. No, everybody wants to see Crosby in the playoffs. But here's the thing about, why he would want to do it. Because obviously he says he has an immense loyalty to the city. He has an immense loyalty to the organization. But also, let's not forget who he learned a lot of those lessons from when he was 18 was Mario Lemieux. And not only did Mario Lemieux stay in the city when it got bad, he bought the team when it got bad.
Yeah.
So he's learning at the feet of somebody who made the ultimate sacrifices to stay in the city and to keep the team here. So while it might not be as dramatic because the team is in pretty good financial standing, especially if you look at what all the expected numbers are for any potential sale or whatever, what have you, that this is just Sidney Crosby saying, listen, I had a goal that I stated when I started here, and I've believed that for 20 years, and it's not going to change just because the fortunes of the team have changed over the past couple.
Well, when they get Gavin McKenna in the draft, I'm sure he'll stay on a couple of years and teach him, and then he'll be the next. Because it seems the same franchises continuously get franchise talents. Edmonton, Pittsburgh, it's the same ones over and over again. So.
Well, it is the prophecy, 1984, Mario Lemieux was drafted by the Penguins. 21 years later, Sidney Crosby was drafted by the Penguins. And 21 years later would be 2020. Oh, six. Yeah. So, it's fine. We can already write down the pick.
Well, yeah, you can write it down because the NHL isn't going to want, Pittsburgh to. Last time they lost their franchise talent with Lemieux and all that, the team stunk so bad they almost moved, right?
Yeah, Kansas City.
Yeah, they almost moved. It's tough.
I still believe that conspiracy theory. They throw Pittsburgh a bone there to get Crosby.
Oh, yeah. And the Rangers got Mark Stahl on that draft, by the way. So
the Rangers had the same odds as Pittsburgh that season after the lockout for Crosby, but
they sure did, PJ.
But the Mark Stahl draft pick comes up every year.
I'm gonna say right now. PJ said to me on Monday, I didn't realize it was Miserable Monday, but he's the one bringing up that the Rangers had the same odds as Pittsburgh to get Sidney Crosby in the draft.
Well, you're talking about them getting Gavin McKenna. I'm just visualizing a bad thing again. But that's what where I wanted to steer this next, Nick, is the draft. And when the Rangers traded for JT Miller, they did not expect that their first round pick they traded would end up in Pittsburgh's hand later that day. And there was a lot of debate between Rangers fans, especially me and Cousin Ed, what the Rangers should do with that pick, whether they should, keep it because it was a top 12 pick and potentially a prospect that can help them soon, and risk giving Pittsburgh the unprotected pick, hence the risk of Gavin McKenna. They didn't. They traded the pick to Pittsburgh this year. What were your thoughts? I'm sure you were leaning towards giving them a pick this season in 2026 instead, and then, interestingly enough, they traded to the Flyers. So I was kind of curious what you thought about that whole thing and the Penguins draft in general.
Yeah, the draft night was, and you can ask my wife because I was screaming a lot. It was a wild set of emotions with 2 draft picks, 11 and 12. There were 2 players that I really, really wanted, and they both were on the board at 11. And I was like, all right, here we go. We got Victor Eklund. We got Kashawn Akishin. We're good. That's what we need. Just make the picks,
Ooh.
Kyle, and walk away. And then, he takes Ben Kindle. I'm like, all right, that's a different name. And then, of course, as you mentioned, he trades the pick to the Flyers and trades back. And I'm like, what are we doing? Now, in the months since, I've liked a lot of what I've seen out of Bill Zonin. I've liked a lot of what I've seen out of Will Korkoff as well. I still really like the 2 players that I mentioned, both Eklund and Aitchison. But, the thing is with the
And they're
Penguins.
both Islanders now.
Yeah, they're both Islanders. That's why I hate it, because they got them and Schaefer all in the first round. So that's why I was screaming during the draft night, because I was like, of all teams, the Islanders, come on now. But no, at the end of the day, you look at where the Penguins are at. They're at a position right now where they need as many young, talented prospects as possible. So getting 3 instead of 2, even if it's the 2 that I want, I'll say overall a net win for Kyle Dubas on that one, and was able to calm myself down after the dust settled that night.
Well, Kindle is a pretty good prospect, so
He
you
is.
shouldn't be too upset about that. But I get it. I think Eklund and Aitchison I have them higher as prospects, so I agree. Particularly Aitchison, I was really mad the Islanders got him, because when I was coming into the draft, I was reading about all these prospects, and he really intrigued me as like, okay, if the Rangers keep this pick, this is a good target, a hard hitting guy and center ice defender, big guy. It's tough to see the Islanders grab him. I think we can all agree on that. But
Yeah, I agree.
Anyway, the coach Ed, you gonna talk about the Penguins coach who is now the Rangers coach?
Well, I mean, it's obvious that we did a little swap. I mean, we got Mike Sullivan. We're all excited on this end.
And
You guys
David
got-
Quinn.
And David Quinn. You guys got Dan Muse, who was kind of an unknown here. He was supposedly involved a lot. And you got Dan Muse. So talk about a little bit how Sullivan created a culture in Pittsburgh. And do we have something to look forward to? Or do you feel, he wore out his welcome? And what's your thoughts on that, all that nonsense?
No, I think New York is the perfect place for Mike Sullivan, because, at the end of his tenure in Pittsburgh, I think everybody was under the understanding that, this just had run its course. I mean, 10 years for an NHL head coach in this day and age is unheard of to begin with. And I understand the guy won back-to-back Stanley Cups to start his tenure. But if you look at the last couple of seasons, the team, when it came to the personnel, didn't fit the coach. They couldn't play a system. And he is, there's some people that would call him stubborn, but I'd say he is just very passionate about his system and the capability of it to be successful. And he's right in a lot of cases. I mentioned the back-to-back cups. You look at what Team USA looked like in the 4 Nations last year, and you can still see that, hey, that system has a place in today's hockey. You just have to have the players that can execute it. And I think the Rangers are much more equipped with the roster they have right now than the Penguins had been the last couple of seasons. So I think he's the perfect coach at the perfect time for the Rangers. And I think the big thing that he didn't have in Pittsburgh that he will have in New York is goaltending. You look at those last couple of playoff series, none more prevalent than the one that we had against you guys in 2022. He didn't have the goaltending. He should have that in Igor Shesterkin. Should. Now, whether he does or not, I'll let you guys speak to that because you watch him more closely. But a goaltender of that pedigree with Mike Sullivan's system and some of the stars that you guys have on that roster, I think you should be pretty excited.
Wow. Let's go. I'm ready to start the year, man. I love it. Anyway, I'm just kidding. That's great. I mean, I'm curious with Sullivan in particular how he dealt with star players, because he was an assistant with the Rangers, I think, right before he went to Pittsburgh. I think the Penguins hired him from the Rangers coaching staff, if I remember correctly. So he goes there, and this is a little bit new to him, and he's got all these star players in the primes of their career. Kind of, you won that cup, but underachieved a little bit since, expecting maybe Crosby to win more cups or whatever, and then he comes in and wins 2 cups. Pretty cool. So he obviously did a good job, Phil Jackson-esque, with the stars here, kind of getting them all on the same page, different personalities. So I'm curious, how is he with young players? Because one of the gripes that we have, or some of us have, is that the young players don't get opportunities on the Rangers. It kind of makes them appear, I don't want to say appear worse, a lame way to say it, but they're better than they appear because they're not getting those opportunities. Do you find that as in Pittsburgh, he was giving young players opportunities to play with Crosby and Malkin, power play time, things like that?
They had to earn it. That's the thing. And a lot of people in Pittsburgh, that was a sticking point, because for a long time, a lot of people had said the Penguins need to get younger. The Penguins need to get younger. They need to give their young guys a chance. Now, it could be one of two things. One, I kind of alluded to it earlier, they didn't have a lot of good young players because, well, that's the price you pay whenever you're trading first-round picks every year, going for Stanley Cups. And that's what they were doing from 2013 to 2018. Was trading first-round picks, trading second-round picks. So they didn't have a lot of high-quality young players for a large portion of the tail end of Sullivan's time. But the ones that they had, he didn't give opportunities unless they proved to him that he could trust them. And with young players, sometimes that's hard. You have to go through a couple bumps. You have to go through a couple issues with young players. And that's something that it seemed like he had a little bit less patience for. So that's something that I would look at as how does he handle it with guys like Gabe Perreault, who are probably better than most prospects the Penguins had up until 2 years ago. And does he change his philosophy when he has young guys like that? Because when he first got the call in 2016, it was a lot of young players that came up and got opportunities, but those were also the young players he was coaching in Wilkes-Barre that already had his trust. So the question is, can the young players you have gain his trust? And if they do, then he'll give them opportunities until the cows come home. And we saw in the last season of Jeff Carter, he probably shouldn't have been out there on the ice half the time he was, but he had the trust of Mike Sullivan, therefore he's out there. So it's not as much a how young are you thing, it's how much can he trust you. And sometimes it is harder to trust some younger guys, but if they show that they are worthy of that trust, he'll give them opportunities.
Now, do you think it's fair, building on that not only do they have to earn it, but is it also true that the Penguins really haven't had any good young players since those back-to-back cups, because they were giving away all their first-round picks year after year?
Yeah, I mean, it was a while where they didn't draft in the first round. I mean, they traded a first-round pick for Derek Brassard. That didn't go well at all. And you end up trading away Derek Brassard, not getting anything near a first-round pick back, and you just kind of burned that potential prospect. So I think a lot of it was, like I said, it's the price you pay. If you want to go for it, especially with Jim Rutherford as your general manager for all those years, you trade away very valuable picks that could turn into valuable prospects, and it leaves your cupboard bare. That's why the Penguins, for maybe a 5-year stretch, were 30th, 31st, 32nd, and everybody, not just the Athletic, not just elite prospects, everybody's prospect rankings, they were dead last because they didn't have quantity and they didn't have quality. But that's the thing you're starting to see now, and unfortunate that we never got to tell whether or not that was something Mike Sullivan could have improved upon, but we're seeing now that it's finally starting to get rebuilt a little bit, and there's a lot more young players that are coming up through the pipeline. It's just something we didn't have really for the past 5 years, coming up until the end of Sullivan's tenure.
Do you foresee any of the other big names going to kind of restock that pond a little bit, like Letang or Malkin? Or, I mean, I think he's trying to get rid of Carlson, right? Or that's what has been reported.
Yeah, that's what
always shopping him.
That's what everybody's talking about. That it's hilarious though. Somebody asked Carlson, "Have you been approached about your no trade clause?" He said, "The only time I heard anything was from you guys talking to the media." He's like, "Other than that, it was a nice, pleasant summer." And I was like, "Okay, well, that's Erik Karlsson for you. He's gonna be right to the point." But I don't think Evgeny Malkin's going anywhere. I think him being in his last year of his contract, and he said at the outset of camp, "Hey, listen, I'm on my last year. If I play well and the team plays well, why not play one more year?" But he also said, Penguin forever. So it feels like he's not going anywhere because he also has that no trade clause. Crosby, we already talked about, I don't think is going anywhere. Letang is an interesting one, but I think the one that you're looking at if you're going to see a move is an Erik Karlsson. I do think that he's somebody who, while the other guys are old, Erik Karlsson while being old, is also not as old, right? He's like 34, 35, whereas everybody else is 38, 39 years old right now. And he showed last year around that Four Nations and at the Four Nations tournament that if he's put in the right situation, he could still go. And I think that a team, again, I thought he was going to Dallas last year. I thought that was a perfect fit, and there's somebody that could be a missing piece for them. But I think where the Penguins are at right now with the salary cap space they have, they're going to eat some of that salary and make him even more appetizing for a contender at some point this season. So whether or not somebody bites, that's a different question.
I'm curious because a player's, I think, and this is off the top of my head, I think a player's salary can only be retained twice. And I think San Jose, when they traded him to Pittsburgh, retained only like 1.5, right? Because he's 10 mil with Pittsburgh.
Yep.
So he's already, I wonder, does that already count as being retained? Because then Pittsburgh can really only get him down to 5 million on the cap hit in a trade. So I wonder if that will limit kind of during the season. Well, I guess towards the deadline, maybe it won't matter as much, but we'll see. I mean, they should trade him. They're, especially if they're not. I mean, look, with all those guys, I mean, is it possible that Pittsburgh could, all four of those guys, have great years if Pittsburgh's the playoffs? Like, I guess,
I mean, what they're shooting for, I would imagine, is the mold that Washington set out 2 years ago, where it's like, okay, nobody expects us to make the playoffs, but all of our old players played the best that they've played, or at the very least to the standard. And all of a sudden, a bunch of young players came out of nowhere. And there's a crop of young players that you look at and you're like, okay, I mean, he's a little bit further ahead than we thought. He's a little bit further ahead than we thought. So if everything goes right, they might be able to make the playoffs. But again, everything would have to go right. We're all saying this before game one of the season, so you never know what's going to happen. But at least on paper and expectations wise, I think that's kind of what you're looking at, is everything would have to go right from top to bottom for this organization this year.
Nick, you didn't touch on the Dan Muse situation. I mean, I'm on PJ's side. When I listen to Mike Sullivan do a press conference, the verbiage he uses is just so, I don't know, it's like professional, it's hockey. I just love listening to his talking. Even when he was a Penguins coach, I loved hearing it. I've never heard Dan Muse speak ever. Have you talked to him? What's your feeling on him? Is he going to be able to lead this team? Is he going to go for wins? Is he going to be? Is his role developmental now? What's the story? What's the feedback you're getting over there?
First opinion of Dan Muse is the voice that you said you haven't heard does not match the face. It is much deeper than I ever expected Dan Muse's voice to be. But no, he, from all intents and purposes, he's had himself a pretty good camp and had himself a pretty good start. He's already getting praise from the star players. Chris Letang said a couple days ago that, when asked about, what's Dan Muse like, he said, oh, he works hard. I mean, I came back to the practice facility to grab some dinner and left around 8 p.m. and he's still up in his office, on his laptop doing work. And he said, and he was there at 6 a.m. the next morning. So I'm sure his wife is not too happy about his new job, but I'm sure that a lot of people in the organization appreciate the hours he's putting in. But as far as what he's here to do, I think a large part is that that development side of things. But I also think at the same time, every coach that comes in is going to want to try to win, especially when you have players like Crosby. We talked about what he had to say. You have players like Malkin. They're not here to lose. They're not here to coast. They're here to win, and they're going to want their coach to want the same thing. So I think it feels like a fresh start in Pittsburgh. I mean, there was a post today from Michelle Crecchiolo, who's the team's reporter, who said at Penguins practice, he was watching the inter-squad scrimmage from up above, and there's 2 sheets of ice. So the players were going to go switch ice, and it's an open practice, so there's fans there. He walked over and held open the door between the 2 sheets of ice and was shaking hands and thanking fans for coming just to watch their practice. So he's a guy who is trying to endear himself to the fan base, endear himself to the players, and it feels like he's hitting all the right buttons with that. As far as what we're going to see from him as a coach, that remains to be seen. He's a guy who had successful penalty kills at both NHL stops, and he's a guy who has coached young players at multiple different levels, whether it be college, whether it be juniors, whether it be the national development program. So I'm interested to see how it all mixes with him now in this role for the first time in his life.
Now, did he go into how he expects the team to play? Because, kind of like Coach said, as an assistant coach, for some reason, the media just can't interview these guys when they're an assistant. I know, he had a lot of success with the USA National Development Program. I think they've played fairly aggressive from what I remember watching in the World Junior Championships. But did he kind of go into what what his philosophy is as far as more defensive? Does he like, Sullivan like a high forecheck? I don't know if he delved into that yet.
He hasn't really gotten too much into the nuts and bolts. The one thing that he has preached a lot in the first week of training camp has been intensity. Everything that you see that he's saying, and especially if you go to that practice, it is intense. Somebody asked me, what's the biggest difference between last year with Mike Sullivan at training camp and this year with Dan Muse? And I was like, it's a lot louder, and it's not the fans that are making the noise. It's the coaches and the players, and there's a lot of competition. And I think that's something that right now, with the team that he has in place and the players that he has at his disposal, fostering that competition and basically telling the vets, hey, listen, we got young guys that are almost ready. If you don't perform, we have no issue sitting you. And now, of course, that's not going to extend to the upper echelon guys, but a guy like Tommy Novak who wants to prove himself, if he is struggling, there's going to be somebody like a Ville Koivunen or a Rucker McGroarty that might take his space, or an Avery Hayes who's been really good since the beginning of prospects camp this year. Maybe that's not the best because Tommy Novak has the personal stamp of approval from Evgeny Malkin, even though they only played like 3 games together last year. But, it's something where it feels like the competition is not just a headline this year. It feels like it's true down on the ice, and that's something that's been a little bit different than in years past.
Yeah, I know Muse got a lot of, attention and positivity when he was first the Rangers assistant in 23-24, doing that, fostering that competition in practice where like he would keep tallies and they'd make teams up in practice. So it seems like he's going to bring that over. And I think that, it definitely helped the Rangers that one year, the first year when they had a lot of positivity and competition. It was like a fresh start. So yeah. I wonder if it's going to be the same thing there.
Yeah, a lot more sellies in practice because it means you don't have to do as much conditioning. And Erik Karlsson there was on the other end of that a couple times the day I was up there. He was not happy about some of the tallies. He's like, what do you mean? We had 2 more goals. And they're like, just drop and do some push-ups, Carl. Come on.
That's funny. I always liked Muse. I thought he was a good hire by the Rangers, particularly because they keep hiring head coaches that don't seem to connect well with young players, and he does, and he comes with that developmental mindset from the National Development Program, and he had so much success there. And I think he's a great fit for a rebuilding team. So I think he's going to do a great job in Pittsburgh. But with Sullivan, coming, do you have any insight into how that happened? Because as soon as he was fired, everybody knew he was signing with the Rangers. Was this like an unspoken thing beforehand? Did they kind of just relieve him so he could go take that job? Like, I don't know. I don't want you to reveal any tampering or anything like that, but it seems like it's like a foregone conclusion.
I mean, fortunately I wouldn't know. So I don't have to perjure myself. I don't have to get myself in trouble with saying anything.
Well, you're not under oath. Don't worry.
Sometimes, Rangers Ed feels like he could be. It is Bible. It is everything.
Raise your right hand.
Right hand is up. So, but no, it just felt like you look at that, and the only reason I was a little surprised is because I thought maybe he'd want to go back to Boston too, and he might take some time to decide between the two, and maybe there's a bidding war. But no, the New York Rangers ended up being it. So I think the thought process was if he's going anywhere, it's going to be to one of those 2 places, and I'm sure he was anxious to say, hey, after 10 years of job security, I'd rather not sit on the unemployment line any longer than I have to. So you know what? The Rangers are there. Why look a gift horse in the mouth? Just take the job.
Yeah. Plus they're going to pay him a lot. I don't think did they ever reveal how much he got? I feel like he's the highest paid coach ever after all that. And then not only the money, but the Rangers are a win now team. Maybe Boston is, even though whether they should or shouldn't be is one question, but they are a win now team. They're going for it. Whereas Boston, I feel like they're selling some pieces. Maybe they're kind of retooling. I don't know. Maybe that had something to do with it. All right. Well, let's look forward, I guess. What are you, we kind of talked about where you expect them to be. 8th seed is kind of the goal, I guess, if everything breaks right. It sounded like you were saying. I don't want to put words in your mouth. But where do you think the Penguins go this year? What do you, as far as their finish, do you think they're a bubble team? Are they tank, tank city, or are they playoff team? Or what's your thought?
Yeah, I'm never going to say that they're going to be a bottom 5 team. I know there's a lot of people thinking that they're going to be. There's still too much talent on this roster. And I understand the talent didn't do them much last year, but I think they are a slightly better forward unit than a team that finished in the 9th position last year for the draft lottery. The defense is questionable, but there was a lot of changes, so it could go either way there. And I have a hard time believing the goaltending is going to be much worse than it was last year. So I think that matched with the fact that there are some pretty bad teams still in the National Hockey League. I don't think they're going to finish in the bottom 5. I think they are a bubble team, but they're probably at the bottom, closer to the bottom of the bubble. So I think they're more of like maybe not like a 9 or 10, but more of the 11 seed. But I think there's a gap between them and the bottom of the East.
Now, you mentioned goaltending, and I feel like I always get to ask the goalie questions. So this offseason, they traded Nedeljkovic, and then they got Seelov. So I thought it was a really interesting pickup for them. Had a really good run in the AHL last year with Vancouver's AHL team. I believe they might have won it all, and I think he was MVP, if I stand.
Yep.
Correct me if I'm wrong. But where does that kind of stand? Is Jari still the bona fide number 1, or is Seelov's going to push him? We're 1A. I know Blomqvist got a lot of starts with them too. Mm-hmm. Where does that kind of stand with the team this year?
Now, sometimes you don't always believe what a general manager says, but he was asked about, Kyle Dubas was asked about this in his introductory press conference before training camp, and he said, we have 4 goaltenders. 2 of them are veterans, 2 of them are promising young rookies. We're essentially going to take camp to see who the best 2 are, and the best 2 will make the team. And I was like, oh, okay, that's interesting. I mean, they already showed last year they're not afraid to put Tristan Jarry on waivers and send him to the minors. They did it twice. I guess once they did it on waivers. The other time was a conditioning stint for 14 days. But I find it interesting that he felt the need to say that instead of just saying, well, we have some good rookie goaltenders and we'll see how they progress. But we like, giving Tristan a shot. We like giving Arturs a shot. But it is interesting going into this season because I thought that was going to be the clear line. All right, Tristan's going to get an opportunity because he's the incumbent. He's the guy that has been an all-star in the past. And he's the guy that I paid $5 million over 5 years to a couple years ago. So I'm going to give him a shot. But it seems like it's going to be, hey, whoever's the hot hand is going to be the hot hand. And so far in camp, Jari, there hasn't been a lot said about him, but Sergei Murashov is a guy. I was talking to, I believe it was another Rangers podcast a long time ago. And I was like, man, you guys have Lundqvist and he's good, but Alex Georgiev is pretty good young goaltender. And the guy looked at me and he goes, yeah, he's fine. The guy behind him named Igor Shesterkin is a beast. We're hoping for a similar path here. Blomqvist being the Georgiev and Murashov being the beast coming from behind that not a lot of people are seeing coming. So the goaltending situation's interesting. I really don't know if I believe Kyle Dubas when he says, hey, whoever's the best over the next 3 weeks is going to be in Pittsburgh. But I kind of hope that he's true to his word there because I'm somebody who is on the Sergei Murashov hype train.
I was still shocked when they signed Jari to that contract. I think it seemed like he was gone that offseason. All of a sudden, bam, 5-year deal.
Yeah. What a mistake. Yeah, that was a mistake.
There were a couple of them in that offseason, but
Nick, obviously you already touched on your confidence in Sullivan as a coach, but I want to hear your thoughts on I guess the shock of the Rangers season last year and what you think Sullivan can do to turn things around.
I think Sullivan's somebody who's going to keep the boat steady. And that was the problem from the outside looking in as a casual spectator of the Rangers. Is that boat got a little too rocky, a little too often, whether that's, the media narrative of the team or whether that's what was actually happening in the locker room. That team felt like it just was too high on the highs and it was too low on the lows. And Sullivan's going to be really good at keeping it right down the middle. even if there's a lot of craziness going on the outside, he's somebody that I think is going to be able to steady a ship. And I think that's going to help the Rangers in the end. But again, you guys know more about last season than I do. It just felt to me that there was way too much fluctuation in how those guys were handling their business.
Yeah,
It's pretty fair.
Yeah, I think an outsider's perspective says it best. I mean, technically, we're all outsiders, but I think that is what we're looking for in terms of like just establishing the culture and just setting like a status quo, I guess, which is kind of what you touched on. So, PJ, what were you saying?
That is a phrase that Mike Sullivan will use a lot. Keeping things the status quo.
And I know we talked coaches earlier, and we briefly touched on David Quinn. So I wanted to ask, I know it sounds like he's going to have similar responsibilities here, whether it's the defense and the power play. And I know when he came on last year, his first year at Pittsburgh, he dramatically helped their power play. I know their defensive numbers, especially analytics side, were pretty brutal. Can you ease my mind that the defensive stuff was more on the personnel than him?
Well, I think anytime two of your starting six in almost every game is Chris Letang and Erik Karlsson, you're not hoping for much by way of defending your own side of the ice. The other thing was halfway through the season, they traded their best defensive defenseman in Marcus Pettersson. So that didn't help either. They went young in some instances. They went unproven in some instances with guys like Ryan Shea. And we mentioned the mistake of re-signing Jari. Ryan Graves is still on this team. So they did still have to deal with that. He was better last year, but the bar was set very low for Ryan Graves last year. So I would say a lot of it is personnel. The Penguins have tried to remedy that this year, and I think that just goes to show you that they wanted to try to fix some of the personnel and that it can be to blame there. But I do think that just as a team, the Penguins weren't in a position to play good defensive hockey. Part of that is going to fall on Quinn. Part of that's going to fall on the team. But I think the Penguins' movement on the back end should give you a little bit of hope that maybe it was personnel being a big factor.
He's just like a Kirkland brand version of Mike Sullivan. Like it's like literally
100%.
Just seeing him, like I have to look twice. Like, is that Sullivan or is that Quinn? Oh, it's Quinn. Like it just takes me takes me a second though. But that's what it is. And they're like, are they like best friends or something? It makes me feel like
they
a
went
little
to college
bit
together. Oh yeah.
Yeah. So it makes me feel like
gang.
I'm not so confident. Like also just throw this out there. Quinn was the head coach of the Rangers. He's now an assistant coach with the Rangers. That's it's a little odd to be fired from a position and then years later accept a lesser position with that same company. I don't know. Like the whole thing is just weird to me.
The same guy that fired you too.
Yeah, it's a little bit odd. I mean, I know it's a little bit of a different nuance. NHL coaching is like a little different. It's not like he, was the manager at a supermarket and then got hired as a cashier or something. I understand this is NHL coaching, but like he could have,
Well, I think it says a lot about maybe Coach I could touch on this too, but I think it says a lot about Quinn's character, swallowing his pride a little bit to achieve something great. I mean, with one of his best buddies. And I mean, they coached Team USA together also. I mean, I understand it's like one of his buddies and stuff, but I don't think Team USA is going to hire Quinn just because it's one of Sullivan's buddies. I mean, I could be wrong. Maybe it is political in that sense, but I don't know. I think he's and I think Coach, we said it a bunch when we were touching on Quinn and stuff. We say it still. I mean, he was given a very unfair hand at the time as coach of the Rangers. I mean, go ahead, Coach. You can go ahead.
I mean, like Cuz just said, he reminds me so much of Sullivan. When he was the coach of the Rangers, just listening to his press conferences, he has an intelligent hockey IQ. Obviously he could deal with the younger players. That's why he probably did well at World Juniors or whatever he's doing with developing. And because he was very successful at Boston. So I have no problem with it. I mean, it is a little odd that he had to come back, but sometimes you got to suck it up. Me personally, I wouldn't want to. When you're in charge and now all of a sudden you have other guys making the decisions and you would do things differently, it's a hard thing to do. but maybe he gets along with Sullivan that well, and they're on the same page with a lot. So,
yeah.
Obviously, if he didn't get along with him, Sullivan wouldn't have brought him over.
It's just an interesting thing. I think a lot of Rangers fans were disappointed in Quinn. He was hired out of college to lead the rebuild, kind of like the Penguins hiring Muse, right? So just put it in perspective. Like imagine 3 years down the line, Penguins players aren't developing, Muse gets fired, and the Penguins become a good team, and then they hire Muse as an assistant coach. You'd be like, what the hell? Like we just had this guy, we fired it. The whole thing is weird.
Fans are fickle.
It's a unique situation.
Fans are fickle. They have to, like we talked about. No one, like they'll say Quinn didn't do this, Quinn didn't do that, he didn't develop this. He didn't have the time. He came into a quagmire of a situation where the COVID and this. How are you going to develop anybody? The AHL was probably shut down 100%.
We don't have to waste Nick's time arguing about this. We could do it later.
There's
plenty of things Quinn could have done differently during that time period.
Nick, we did have a question here from one of our fans, Killjoy, who asked, who is the best Pittsburgh prospect right now and will he make the team?
I think the number one prospect in the organization, it's a toss-up between Rutger McGroarty and Harrison Brunick. McGroarty, whenever he's healthy, will make the team, but he's out indefinitely due to an upper body injury. But he is somebody who is going to be very good for this team sooner rather than later. Brunick is an interesting one. McGroarty is not. I know he played at University of Michigan and for the national team development program, but I'm not sure where he's from. United States, I can narrow it down that much. But Brunick, on the other hand, Brunick is an interesting case because last year, as an 18-year-old, there were a lot of people saying, man, he might just maybe squeak out a roster spot on this team. And remember, he plays the right side. Erik Karlsson and Chris Letang both dominate 2 of the 3 spots on the left side. So if you're saying, man, an 18-year-old almost snuck his way into that one and only spot, that goes to show how impressive he was last year. And he is just as impressive this year in camp. He's been practicing alongside Owen Pickering, who's another first-round pick for the Penguins. And he has been very, very good. Just a young but beyond his years defenseman that is poised with the puck and also very good and very disciplined in his own zone. So that's a name that if you're trying to keep an eye on one prospect that's not going to be immediately at the NHL level, Harrison Brunick is an interesting guy. I don't know if he'll make the team again this year because, again, that right side is still packed, and then we've added Matt Dumba to the mix and Connor Clifton to the mix. So I'm not sure he's going to be able to beat those guys out, but he's a very talented player that's going to be in the NHL at least next year, I'd imagine. And when he is, he's going to be a big piece of this rebuild for the Pens.
I'm going to piggyback off that, Nick, and we have our fantasy draft coming up. Who's a sleeper pick on the Penguins that someone can draft?
I don't know if you could consider Brian Rust a sleeper, but Brian Rust is always a very steady pick. I mean, the guy scored 31 goals last year, and he just continues to be able to produce. Not to mention the fact that of anybody on this roster, he's going to be the one that is next to Sidney Crosby almost every single game. So that always is going to, rising tide lifts all boats. Playing with Sidney Crosby lifts everybody's goal scoring totals. Outside of that, I'm looking at the roster, and I would say Ville Koivunen. Young guy. Last year he came up, played, I believe, in 8 games, scored 7 points. He's going to be able to produce some offense this year if he's given the correct opportunities. And it feels like he will under Dan Muse. So if you're looking for a real sleeper, I'd look at Ville Koivunen. If you're looking for one that's like, maybe mid rounds, maybe it feels like a reach, but hey, this guy might score 30 goals again. That's Brian Rust.
Is Rust going to finish the season as a Penguin?
Rust, I don't know. It's hard because Rust is the only one of the trade guys that doesn't have trade protection anymore. He had a full no trade clause until July 1st of this year. So now it's just at the whim of Kyle Dubas. But this is a guy that I think a lot of Penguins fans are expecting, hey, when Crosby hangs him up, Brian Rust is going to be the captain of the Penguins. Like, he is the next in line to take on that leadership role. So it would be a big blow to lose Brian Rust. That's all I'll say. I don't know. Because at the same time, that just means his trade value's through the roof. So we'll see how it plays out. I'm not sure where to go on that one.
if someone offers a first round pick or something at the deadline, like, and you guys are in, fifth to last or whatever, then it's going to be circumstantial based on the offers and where the Penguins are in the standings.
Yep.
So you just kind of got to play it out. Yeah. All right. So what about the Rangers? I mean, where are they finishing this year? You seemed confident in the year they could have based with Sullivan and based on their talent, but are they back in the playoffs? Do you think he steadies the ship? Or are they in? Are they a bubble team? Where do you have the Rangers?
I think they're in. I think that they slot in. I'd say second in the Metro because the Metros is interesting and fluctuating. I'm not sure how much of the Caps last year was fugazi, so I don't know. I don't know what to believe about the Caps.
But Logan Thompson, man,
here we go.
What a stud! I can't wait till he has a terrible year. I'm just so excited for him. Anyway.
Yeah, I'd love nothing more than the Logan Thompson contract to look like the Tristan Jarry contract in about 6 months. That'd be as somebody who pulls for the black and gold, that would be a welcome sign. But
are they your number one rival, the Capitals?
I think in the generation I grew up in, yes. If you ask anybody 5 years older than me, it's the Rangers.
Or the Flyers too, I guess.
The Flyers are always there. They're always there, but at the same time, win a cup in the last 50 years, and then we can call you a rival. Like
right. That's like the Islanders. It's like the Islanders for us. It's like the Islanders for us. It's always a rival, but like you have to pick someone else also.
Yeah.
Well, while we're doing predictions, Nick, before we let you go, the Rangers do open the season on ESPN versus the Penguins this year in Madison Square Garden, and a couple of dates later, Sullivan returns to Pittsburgh. Are we thinking Rangers win both, Penguins win both, 1-1? Where are you at?
See, my initial reaction is to say it's going to be a split because there's no way Crosby's going to let Sullivan get the one-up on him on opening night.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I then remember what the Rangers did to the Penguins last year on opening night, and I'm like, yeah, maybe I should just cool my jets on that one a little bit. I still think it'll be a split, but, predicting a Penguins win on opening night, it might be a bridge too far because I have no idea what this team's going to look like.
Not back-to-back. There's a game in between, but
Pens play the Islanders, so it's New York to start the season.
Oh, that's fun.
Well, Nick, every team has a good record against the Rangers opening night, so don't count them out. After all the hype, the Rangers seem to blow it. I've been going like about 10 years now.
Yeah,
we got Oscar in the chat. We got Oscar with a question.
Yeah, good segue for the rest of the episode.
Yeah, Oscar's one of our Jersey guys. He's coming on to talk Centennial jersey for the Rangers, but he asked your favorite Pens jersey, Nick.
My favorite Pens jersey, honestly, it's the Pittsburgh diagonal. I have a hard time picking any other jersey but that one. It's just it's a great 90s one. Yeah, the 90s look. I mean, I always go back and see the pictures of Kevin Stevens and Ron Francis, and to be able to bring that jersey back and see guys the likes of Sidney Crosby and Evgeny Malkin wear it was nice. Who knows what their third jersey will look like this year? They got a new one coming out. I can't say the one thing I overheard because I don't want to get the guy in trouble, but I'm intrigued to see what they actually look like because I got a tidbit of information that I was like interesting, but I'm not going to share it because there's only one person that knows that piece of information, and I don't want to get him in trouble.
That home logo jersey they had, that when they had the Pittsburgh on the road in the black, like you said, the diagonal, and then their home jersey was that old school Penguins logo. That's, to me, I like that logo better than their current.
Yeah, he's got the bottom of it on his podcast logo.
Yeah,
exactly. The RoboPen. Yeah, you know what? One. I should have wore. I had a
RoboPen.
Well, if you need it, if you're getting into jersey when it comes out, Oscar's the guy to hit up, man. He's got. I don't know if you follow him on Instagram, but check him out. What's his handle? Oscar's
Pro Stitch.
PSH.
Yeah, Oscar's PSH or Oscar
Correct.
PSH, but
Oscar's.
Yeah, Oscar's PSH. Check him out. He does custom jerseys, like threads them himself, dude. They're insane. They're unbelievable. All my jerseys now are from Oscar. I don't buy jerseys unless they're from him. So definitely check that out. But all right, Nick, thank you for coming on. I'm excited to see how the season goes. Halfway through, we're talking about, halfway through the year, bringing you guys back on maybe for, whatever you're willing to give us and just kind of updating where we are in our predictions and kind of see where we're at. So We'll bring you back on during the season if you're up for it. I know you're probably going to be super busy with Sportsnet, but hopefully you can give us a half hour or something, and we'll, talk some more Rangers Pens.
Yeah, never too busy for you guys. Anytime you guys send up the bat signal, I'll be here.
All right, awesome.
Yeah,
Thanks, Nick. Appreciate your time
before you get out of here.
All right.
Later, buddy.
You can find all our stuff at Iceburgh Podcast on Twitter, Tip of the Iceberg Podcast on YouTube, and hopefully you don't hate us as much, because I know a lot of people watching this are Rangers fans, but I hope you got the sense over the past hour that I'm not just going to be a blatant homer. So I'll call it as it is.
Great
Our
job.
fan-
Great job.
Our fans know we don't have homers on this show. So
I know it's hard. It's hard to talk smack because all our guests are reasonable on this tour. We got to find some guests that are actually going to start it up, But anyway, I'm just kidding. Thanks, Nick. Appreciate your time. At Iceburgh Podcast, Berg like Pittsburgh, not like actually Iceberg, and at Nick Belsky. Check him out on X and your podcast wherever you get them. Thanks, Nick. Till next time. Appreciate you, buddy.
hey, everybody.
Hey,
Good luck
Nick.
this season.
All right, Nick Belsky from Tip of the Iceberg Podcast. That was a lot of fun.
Do you guys notice?
Really good insight, man.
Very good insight. Do you guys notice with all our rivalry guests, there's a lot of question marks, this, that, and the other thing. But what's the one common denominator that they really all have that we don't have?
I'm stumped.
The goaltending. Every rivalry we had on, the
Except the
goaltending
Islanders. Oh, I guess Sorokin. We talked
it
about
was
it.
still like an iffy thing with Allen. If he does this, if he doesn't get hurt.
Yeah.
And even with the Islanders, Sorokin can't play the 50 games. But
But coach, that's why PJ tells you to lay off Igor during the year because of that. Think about it. We could have Jake Allen and Jacob Markstrom as our
gotta
goaltending
understand where
duo,
I'm coming from with that. Maybe that's why some players don't like me. But if they get upset, I tell them I'm pushing you because you need to be pushed to be better.
Well, Igor's not hearing you, so you don't have to push.
That's why I'm pushing. PJ's got to understand. I expect him to be better.
Coach is going to
expect
volunteer. Coach going to volunteer his transportation for the Rangers. He's going to start giving Igor notes while he goes to.
I had Igor in the car. Forget it.
Rumor
He's got
has
Igor's wife in the car going to Whole Foods. He's like, can you tell him to freaking pick his head up when they come down?
rumor has it during that boxing video on Instagram that Igor was training. He had Coach's face on the little pad at the practice.
Oh my god, dude!
You gotta get Allie to do that. Put Coach's face on.
That'd be great.
On the.
Well,
That's
mid.
the one. That's the one thing we don't have to worry about, and that's important. So that's why that, plus the fact that Sullivan's here, captaincy named. I think some good rookie showings. I think they're going to be every rival's picking them to be second or third in the Metro. The Rangers.
Yeah, a lot of positivity. Well, real quick before we dive into the next section, I did promise one of the listeners in the chat, the MYR nobody, and I mean, I could answer this question. Should Morrow take Vaakanainen's spot as a 6D? I mean, I would die for that. I don't know about anybody else.
The thing is, like, I don't know how the D's going to shake out. I would like Morrow to claim a spot. The thing is, like, Vaakanainen is one of those guys last year I was really impressed by. When they made the trade, he was kind of a throw-in. He was 7th D in Anaheim. A lot of fans are like down on him, thinks he stinks, whatever. But he's kind of, a tall, lanky D that can move the puck. He makes a good first pass. He could skate pretty decent. He's not overly physical, but he's not physical either. I don't really want to see Vaakanainen sitting. I want to see if he can push forward with that. I mean, some D developed late. He's a former first-round pick in his mid-20s. Like, I want to see him. I want to see him for at least 20 games before I make an assessment.
And PJ,
My
I know
biggest
you're
thing-
all hyped.
Okay.
You're all hyped
Yeah,
on
Coach.
Morrow. He did great. He did great in the prospect weekend. He didn't look great to me against Boston. Sorry. He didn't look great. Vaakanainen is a proven NHL defenseman. He played the whole season last year, and that's a big step. If he's good enough, Sullivan will probably take him, but I don't know if he's there yet. He might need to play 40 games in the AHL Hartford.
Can we get some flames like flames behind PJ while coach is saying that? Can we get some steam? You can see his face. He's getting some steam coming out of his ears.
The analytics paint Morrow doing extremely well in both games. Just saying.
Okay, you can again take your analytics and
Well, I watched the first half of the game on my phone. On my phone while holding my child, so I wasn't paying too close attention tomorrow in the game. But
I didn't say he had a bad game, but he had some deficiencies that against the Boston team, and obviously Boston came back, even though they took Igor out. That was definitely part of it, but Boston came back and won that game, and there were some deficiencies. And if you're not
After the game, Theo goes, they blew a 4-1 lead. God, why do all your teams just blow games? I was like, it's the preseason. I don't care. It wasn't even Igor in that. Like, who cares? It's our 5th string goalie. She's like, there's always an excuse. I was like, Jesus, the season didn't even start yet. I'm not mad. You're trying to get me mad.
You're really rubbing off on her.
Yeah, geez Louise, man. I was like, I'm not even upset. It was funny.
But my biggest argument for Morrow making the team is just without him, though, other than Fox, who was moving the puck or getting the puck to the forwards or moving the puck up the ice in the rush? They don't have any.
I just said I think Vakanainen he makes a decent first pass in my opinion.
Should be able to.
Yeah, I mean, he's still not going to produce. He's not going to push offense.
But there's different layers. So transporting the puck up the ice is different than being able to get the puck between the circle and the goal line and move it past the blue line to a forward who's going to go make a play or dump it in or whatever. Vakanainen can clear the zone. I thought he was pretty good last year. I didn't think he was a stud or anything. He could be terrible this year. I have no idea. I was just expecting nothing when they got him, and I was somewhat impressed by him. I don't know. I thought he was.
I think we should put a pin in this until we do our preseason and we do our lineup predictions.
Ooh,
fair enough.
Vakanainen versus Morrow.
Anytime I hear Morrow, though, I get excited.
Yeah, I know, PJ. It's okay, but I'll save my comments on Morrow for that episode. So
why don't we go to the sponsor?
Yeah, I gotta use the baño.
Yeah, take a second, put the sponsor in, and then we'll start with our new guests.
Yep, we got a special intro for our next guest, so stay tuned, everybody.
Hey everybody, Coach Ed here. I'm over here in the shop at Bella Italia, Marble Granite and Quartz, picking up my order for a nice little bathroom I'm doing. I've been a contractor almost as long as I'm a hockey coach. So listen to me when I tell you, when you want the quality work and craftsmanship, I'm going to see the boys over at Bella. They serve all 5 boroughs, Westchester, Long Island, all the way out to Montauk. Whether you're a Ranger fan, Islander fan, Devils fan, they're going to take care of you no matter what. Make sure you give them a call, 516-561-1018. Let's go, Rangers.
All right, boys, bring it in.
Wow, and we're back.
Holy shit, look at the crew.
What's going on, boys?
We got Oscars from Oscars Pro Stitch. We have Mark from the Blue Line Blue Shirts joining us for a special second edition of our show. We're talking jerseys, and we got 2 gentlemen that know a shit ton about them.
What's up, boys? Welcome.
Man.
What's going on, boys?
Oscar.
Been a while. Miss you, boys.
Been a while since you've been on, man.
Nice to meet you, Oscar.
I'm a little upset about the threads, dude. I'm not going to lie. I'm a little bit upset.
It's kind of like missing something, right? It's like just something's missing, right?
Yeah, it's like, damn, man. UPS, like, come on, dude.
They're beautiful, though. I mean,
I'm excited.
Remember that concept that I put together? I said, look, it's obvious the guys are going to go 100 years ago, and they're going to go baby blue. So that was when I chopped up that Winnipeg alternate jersey and turned it into a Ranger jersey, saying, you know, this is what we got to do. We got to do baby blue.
Oh no, I love those jerseys.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was upset with UPS.
Oh, I was like,
I'm not
what?
upset about the jersey. Let me ask you a
Oh,
question though.
man.
That shirt you're wearing with the 100 Centennial on it. Did you go to MSG and buy all of them? So now I won't be able to get one when I go to the shop. Kind of like the winter hat at the Stadium Series.
Yeah, Horde, I know it's so funny. I was gonna send you a picture of the beanie. I said, make sure you get your damn beanie this year because I don't want to hear you crying anymore that you missed out on the beanie from the Stadium Series.
Well, Oscar, I find it interesting you're wearing that because, I mean, before we dive into the jersey, I have to ask about, you know, you had some pretty strong opinions on Instagram about that Centennial logo and obviously being the center ice logo too. So please elaborate on what you weren't too thrilled about.
Yeah, the different shades of blue, how they incorporate it all together, especially on the ice. I just thought to myself, I'm like, that you know, it looks strange. And then you see some of these teams like how they incorporate the center ice line, right? The red line coming across that logo. I'm like, guys, we could have omitted that in that one small part where there's red in the 100. And, you know, if you look at other like teams that are doing it, they do a great job with their logo. Florida, Vegas, Boston. I don't know. I just felt like we could have done much more. I was joking around with somebody. Like it felt like ChatGPT, you know, designed that. They took like the 85th anniversary crest and they just changed some colors. But no, I mean, it is what it is. I bought a bunch of patches. I ordered my jerseys. I'm, you know me. I'm all in on this team and on these jerseys. So yeah, I think the beautiful. Yeah. You see how it's just cutting straight across the shield. I'm like, come on, boys. We could have at least omitted it out of the shield. But again, you know, that's something somebody made a decision to do, and you know, we move forward.
So other teams don't include the red line, you're saying?
You should see some of the, you know, the logos for the you know, across the league where they omit like certain parts of the center line where it looks great. It doesn't like impede the logo. So yeah, I don't know. But again, it's not that big of a deal, right? It's not gonna hurt the boys. It's not gonna hurt anybody else. It's just when you've got OCD like me, right? It's like, oh, you wanna say something, you wanna do something, but you know, still a great center ice logo.
Well, Oscar, I'm with you, but like I know there's got to be some regulations involved with the NHL rulebook and what you have to have and what you can't have. But I just got the Panthers logo up here too.
I don't like that.
I see what you mean. Well, it's a little less.
You see the Panther. Yeah, the Panther isn't. Yeah, the Panther isn't covered there right by the eye, and they just decided to take the full red line and just go straight across where the Panthers logo. They kind of omitted it in the actual the actual animal. Then
yes, I understand. I can see that. I see the difference, but I don't think the Panthers one is great either.
I'm wondering if that's for officiating and videos when they have to do replays to make sure that's substantially there so they could review it.
Yeah, I'm thinking like, you know, the 2-line pass isn't around anymore, right? So you don't really, you know, they don't really use that center ice line other than the icing, right? Make sure you get to the red line and ice the puck, but I don't know. You can't challenge icings, right? So whatever.
The Panthers
one
looks way better. I agree with you.
It looks better, but you're nitpicking.
I am, and I
agree. You know I love you, Oscar, but you're nitpicking.
Yeah. One of many things I have to nitpick about the Rangers organization, right?
I do love the logo. I love the jersey. I was actually going to text you because I have an old, I'm going to say going back over 25 years, they had this vintage sweater set. I have the New York Americans one, which I love. I worn that thing in like 10-degree weather. It's so warm. I'd love for them to come out in a sweater like that. An actual sweater like they used to wear.
I have one. I'll send you a picture after the pod. It's one of my favorite sweaters.
I feel like they did a bunch of that stuff.
Yeah, it's a thick wool CCM kind of vintage sweater. Yeah.
I mean, this 100-year one I want them to have. The one that
yeah.
I never saw. Yeah.
So I was there last night. They had a couple things out. They had hats. They had a crew neck. They had a hoodie. They didn't have a ton of stuff. No jerseys though. They didn't have any. They didn't have any of the Centennial jerseys there last night.
Yeah, still waiting on those.
Yeah.
And
Well,
Oscar
let's
bought
get
him.
into the
Oscar-
jersey.
I bought them
Yeah.
all.
Yeah, he did. That's why I'm
Yeah.
on the list. Put
And
my name
Eddie,
on that
man,
list.
I'm so sorry about those jerseys, man. UPS let me down. We were trying to time it perfectly for you to get it, today and unbox it, and then give Ed a heart attack and see how we're testing out the jersey curse. With you.
Well,
We'll
when
have
you
to-
say
we'll make
Eddie and
something.
Ed and stuff like that, I mean, you got to be. I know who you're talking about, but I don't know.
Yeah, no, I'm
People
sorry,
say-
Cuz. I'll call you Cuz.
Yeah,
Ned.
no, I'm
Sorry.
excited. I'm excited, and especially with the game coming up and with the suite. We got the suite at MSG. By the way, we still have some tickets available if you're listening and you're interested. They're going fast, so make sure you reach out to us on Instagram or on X if you're interested in joining us. But yeah, so last year the Lundqvist you made Theo, she got signed, so that's currently waiting to be framed and no longer her jersey. So just I need that jersey.
There's a new Hank for her for opening night. There's a new Hank in the package.
Perfect.
Before we dive into jersey talk, I wanted to ask both Mark and Oscar about the jersey ad. I mean, they've went this long. One of the rare teams that doesn't have a jersey ad. They finally go to Mark Messier's Game 7. So I guess we'll start with you, Mark. What are your thoughts on the ad, where it's placed, how it looks? Because we've seen a couple games now.
It's funny. The Jersey guys. It's pretty. It's a small, tight knit community. Oscar's part of it, obviously. I only got into it about 2 or 3 years ago, like heavy in. So we all talk, and I think we knew it was inevitable. I think we knew it was going to happen. I like the affiliation to Mark Messier. I think we're going to get razzed if we don't make it past Game 7. And I think that's going to become an issue. But if there was a patch that we were going to put on our jersey, I think that's it's definitely cooler than I think the milk patch or like Benjamin Moore or somebody that we don't really as fans affiliate with. I think we affiliate and we feel that Game 7 patch because it's coming from the captain.
Can we see that patch? Because I don't know if I've seen it. I've seen the ad, but I'm missing something. Can you get that on the screen or no?
It's really funny.
In the game?
We discussed this. They don't have loose Game 7 patches, so we can't put these patches on our jerseys right away. But I don't know, Oscar. Did you go to the game last night?
No,
I saw you had the 100. I saw you had the 100 on it. So this is crazy because I know they have loose patches. They were selling Adidas jerseys last night
with
Game 7 patches on them, which means they had them and sewed on the extra patches. So they're floating around somewhere.
Do we want them? Is the question.
We don't have a choice.
What are your thoughts, Oscar, on those patches?
I mean, you remember a couple of years ago when when I joined the pod and I was saying, look, Mr. Dolan, if you don't put an ad patch on the jersey, I will never speak ill about you again. Well, we knew it was inevitable, and Mark's right? It was inevitable. And what would you rather have? Would you rather have a giant Delta logo on the shoulder there, or a Chase logo, or an Infosys logo? Like, honestly, and I think the Ranger season ticket holders received a questionnaire 2 years ago asking what they felt about a 3.5-inch advertisement on the sleeve of the Ranger jersey, and I think overwhelmingly, fans said no, don't touch the Ranger jersey. I'm like, I feel like it's a sin for the original 6 teams to be wearing a patch. But Mark hit it. It's like, what would you rather have, right? We have an affiliation to Mark Messier. I don't know. Now I have to have one, right? Because I'm all about having an appropriate kind of authentic era jersey, and so now we're gonna get some of those patches made because it doesn't sound like national emblem is going to be making these. So it's up to us, people like me and Mark to try to get somebody to make these patches and put them on jerseys that people want.
I'm not a fan of it. I have to agree with Mark and you. Why they have to have it? I mean, you talk about the Yankees and tradition. They don't do things on their jersey that are, stay with it. Put it on the helmet.
The Yankees have a jersey sponsor now, actually.
They have a Yankee jersey sponsor.
It's
Star
huge.
Star Insurance. It's massive.
huge.
It's ugly.
All right, so I stand corrected.
Coach, you're nitpicking, as you would say.
I like the tradition. I don't want that patch on the jersey.
Well, I don't like it because it reminds me of like those soccer jerseys with advertisements everywhere, and it's like this is like one small step towards that. The patch itself is not a big deal. I think it's muted a little bit. It's white. It kind of meshes with the jersey. It's related to hockey. It's a Ranger guy who owns the company. Like all those things are make it not a big deal, but it's one small step towards, like you said, Chase on the front of the jersey, or something. And that worries me. This doesn't concern me too much. I'm like, okay, whatever. But next thing you know, there's another patch, and all of a sudden the jerseys are ugly.
I'm telling
that's
you,
that's like the European hockey.
European,
jerseys.
right. I did a jersey last year for a Mika collector, and it was the Djurgårdens jersey, and it was just logo. I was like trying to work with with the jersey, cleaning it off and restoring it, and it's like you have to be careful because like you didn't want to scuff up all the logos from all the companies that were contributing to that team. But I'm telling you, we're like a couple of years away from Mike Sullivan coming out with like a NASCAR-like jacket with all the logos on the jacket on the bench, man. I'm telling you, it's going to be like, we ain't first, you're last. Let's go, boys. Like, come on. Like,
the one thing that was odd to me was the placement of the patch. I'm going to be completely honest. You take a look throughout the league, the patch is on everybody's chest. Rangers, I think, are the first one to put their sponsorship patch on the shoulder. So a couple of us had discussed, obviously, the passing of the number one goalie. And we had Ed, and they had a really nice tribute for him last night. We talk about that later. But they came up with a really nice sticker to put on the helmet. But there have been tribute patches. There have been tribute patches on the shoulders. So we were talking about where's this 100th anniversary patch going to go? Where's the memorial patch going to go? Where's this advertisement patch going to go? So that was another talk around town.
Well, I think that's why they did the sticker. There's no room to have all the patches.
Who knows?
So I thought that was a nice little touch. I really want those. They weren't selling those, obviously.
They weren't selling them.
Unfortunately, Gilbert, like the Mark's point, Gilbert had a nice patch on the shoulder with his number. And now Eddie doesn't get a patch, and he's just as big of a Ranger because of this jersey ad. So I could see, some people be miffed about that a little bit, but it is a cool sticker, no doubt about it.
I don't like the way they put
I got to get that sticker.
I don't like the way they put the one between the eyes, Oscar.
It didn't make sense. It didn't. But you're nitpicking now, Coach. But
it's like a nose. It looks like a nose, kind of.
I love that sticker. I got to get one of those somehow.
I think the season's a puppy. You may still see that on a jersey. Who knows? They may do a special night. There might be a patch. I can't see that not being a patch. Someone's going to make it a patch. Somebody's
going to make it a keychain, a patch, a magnet. They got to do all of it.
Maybe Little Leg.
I have one gripe. I wish I would trade cheaper season tickets for the Game 7 patch. If my season tickets got cheaper, I would be okay with the Game 7 patch.
That's never gonna happen. that's the Dolan tax ain't going anywhere.
Maybe home games when Mika and Panarin are captains, they could wear this patch. And away games when the other guys are captains, they could wear that patch.
Coach, you're onto something there.
Third jersey, they wear another patch. This way, Oscar goes totally crazy.
Don't get Eddie started.
The poor jersey guy for that team.
Maybe Little Ed's already working on something involving the Eddie Jockman logo.
Oh, Little Ed's workshop over there. Okay.
Little namesake action going on.
And by maybe, you better be working on something.
Yeah, I'll add it to the list of all your other demands you guys got for me.
Yeah, put me on the list.
Not like there aren't a couple Eds on this show.
Yeah, exactly.
For the record,
So-
I would have made a better logo, so let's just leave it at that.
Yeah, so I'm curious. We'll start with Oscar on this one. When the Centennial jersey was being announced, did you find out ahead of time? Did you because I just remember a lot of our. I'm not going to bring it up and live on the air, but you have ways. So I'm just curious. Did you get any connection in? Did you get a heads up on what was coming, or were you surprised online like everyone else?
I wasn't surprised. I didn't get a heads up. I didn't have any insight to the Centennial, but I think it was just, predictable that they were going to go with the baby blue. I know, the Winter Classic, the 2018 Winter Classic jersey is like one of the top jerseys, right? So, they copied some of the aspects of that jersey, especially with the collar, right? They kind of just copied and pasted in there. And I think, and we all knew it was going to be a baby blue jersey, right? Because that's what they wore 100 years ago. And they only wore that variant with that white lettering for the first year, of the inception of the Rangers in the NHL. So I don't know, Coach, what was it like when the expansion was announced and the Rangers?
Oh, boy.
I'm kidding. I love you, Coach.
My time, boys.
Coach
When
is
you
a
took
big
the
Lester
old-
Patrick guy.
You took the old horse drawn to the game.
Yeah, it was it back in my day. We saw Ching Johnson, running down the ice and all.
Are they going to do the brown pants and are they going to do the brown pants and brown gloves that were rumored? Or?
I don't think so. No, they don't. They never go all in. Like I feel
They
like they
should,
should. Right now the best Centennial jersey, like by a mile, is Detroit, without a doubt. With what they're doing, it is just they did that right. Their whole campaign is amazing. Like, don't get me wrong, the Rangers campaign and brand launch for this was pretty good. I was surprised, but Detroit, man, that Red Wings jersey is just beautiful. And then
really
the pictures wearing the leather gloves, and they did it really well, really well. So I would love to see tan pants and leather eagle gloves, right? Because from like back in the day.
Oh, you saw that picture? You're like, please tell me you still have those gloves. I was like, dude, those gloves molded over in the humidity of Florida like 20 years ago.
They got washed away in Hurricane Ian back in the day.
Yeah, no chance I have those gloves.
If you follow the Rangers app, there is like JT Miller modeling the jersey. You can kind of see the gloves. I'm not 100% sure if that's what they're going to do, but the helmets are like blue, and it looks like a twist on the Rangers' current glove with like a lighter blue. Yeah, I can't tell. There's a little brown in there, but
in the Messier video, you see the helmet on the top of the stall, and you see the light blue helmet, and then you see a lighter shade glove, like you said, next to it. So it is what it is, right? But I would have loved to see a full
they did the
throwback.
different. Oscar, 2012, they did the different gloves, right? If I'm not mistaken, with the cream jerseys.
Yeah, it was
rather
red,
white, and blue.
Red, white, and red, cream, and blue, right?
Yeah,
those were awesome. Those jerseys are beautiful.
Those are really nice.
Mark, tell me the truth. If they wear the brown pants and the brown gloves, tell me you wouldn't buy the entire set, not just the jersey, but you'd buy like the whole uniform.
I think you all know that I would be sourcing and be trying and digging to get a whole set of one person. It's not easy to do that. There are a couple guys that do that have way deeper pockets than me, but it is something that I would love to put a mannequin in here and and do a full full jersey. Yeah.
Dude, just do all the jerseys they've worn throughout the years. Just get the whole uniforms of since 1928 to the present. Just do a whole thing around your.
I got a set of pants here if you want. I'll send it to you.
You want to put a mannequin in the Ranger room? Now I'm getting nervous. The silence of the lambs.
It'd be definitely scary when you walk in the front door, but it'd be pretty cool.
I know.
Yeah, come on over, guys. Come film it inside the Ranger Room episode in my place, guys.
I would do the camera. I would do the camera in the eyeballs.
He points to the mannequin. Oh, this is my friend Jim. Yeah, he's here.
Okay.
You get beat up over here, Oscar, but you can tell them most of the guys that collect, they have half mannequins and set up helmets and jerseys. I don't have the space for it, but
all right, well,
there's
there's
some great collectors, man.
Another
That
thing
do that.
about these collectors.
I'm learning that I am not that bad of a collector then. Jeez.
I don't
like
think we
it.
saw
That's
that.
nice.
I don't even think we saw that in Toronto, right, boys? I don't think we saw that in Toronto, like mannequins like that. I think it was just, stuff was just displayed, right?
I see that one guy on Instagram all the time, and he's got like 6 of them in his basement, like fully
that
decked
Toronto
out and,
guy?
like, and game worn stuff and whatever else.
Oh, yeah.
I got the
I
Messier
wouldn't be
picture up on the
downstairs here
screen with the
brushing
gloves.
the hair to my mannequin.
I'm looking
Just have
at
a
the
jersey on it
picture.
with a helmet.
I'm looking at the
Sitting there
picture,
going,
Ed.
He'll be going, yeah, you want a Surfside, bud?
My wife would be
Oh
a lot
my
happier
God.
because at
We're going
first
off
I
the
wanted
rails.
the lifestyle.
We've gone off the
life-size
rails,
Iron
boys.
Man.
I'm looking at this picture. I'm curious what you guys think. The patch, the Centennial patch, is the regular royal blue, and the jersey is the baby blue. I don't know if I like that clash.
No, I hate it.
Flash. I hate
Well,
it.
I think that within the 100th logo, if I'm not mistaken, the Rangers logo, the emblem in the bottom does have that blue. I believe. I could be mistaken.
I believe so.
I almost wish
I
they
believe you're
just made
correct,
the
but
blue
still.
the baby blue. At
I
least for the
almost,
jersey.
I almost wish
I
they
have
had
a
no
patch in
patch.
my office I could go get. Oscar, do you
You
have,
have one
readily
already?
available? I bought a couple of them last night when I went to
yeah.
the game.
It's so small though. The patch is so small.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that blue, the blue, and then the typeface, right? The typography that they picked, they changed it, right? So it's a different. It's the old font that says New York Rangers. You'll see it on the ice. You'll see it in the patch. So rather than the normal Ranger shield that we see with the royal blue and the different typography, we see the 1926 font with the light blue in there. So
Dude, that's so nice. That is. I can't wait to get mine.
I like the hanger effect, like the that tribute to the first
opening night.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah, I was hoping in the renovations of the garden they would have brought back that old facade from the original, the original garden, MSG1, which was down the block, but they decided to go a little more corporate.
Well, we didn't get Mark's full thoughts on the jersey. Look, I know he likes it from what I've heard personally, but Mark, share your thoughts on what you thought they did with the jersey.
I like the jersey a lot. I said it from the beginning that I thought it was traditional. It was simple. It's funny, we were like that video that they put up teasing the jersey being released. We were all pausing the video, dissecting it. They were showing pictures of the jersey within the actual video. So we knew the day before, but there was nobody telling anybody. They kept this actually pretty tight what the jersey was going to be. I asked around. Nobody would let me know. Some people did know, but I didn't know. But I love the jersey. And I think another point, Oscar, we could bring up the jerseys that everybody's going to be buying might be similar in color, but the on ice jerseys are probably they might be just a little bit different than the premier jerseys that everybody's going to be buying from the MSG shop. The material's different.
Yeah, the made in Canada material, right? It's a little heavier. It's a little brighter, in my opinion. But yeah, no, it's definitely going to be a little different. And then I got Coach, texting me saying, he wants. Is that you texting me? You want Eddie Jockerman on yours?
Yes.
It wasn't on the team back then. That's a jersey foul.
You can't do that. You have to pick someone who wears the jersey.
Messier's got his jersey on.
That's true. But hey, look, I had this conversation with somebody like, hey, like, I don't want anybody on this damn team, like on that jersey. I want to get my blank, and then I want to put one of the old guys. Can I put Hank on it? And I'm like, whoa. I was like, wait. All right. Hank's probably going to be rocking one in the Garden. Yes. But wait till the alumni game. What if the alumni game, they do rock this year? I've heard rumblings of what the old timers game is going to look like. I hope they pick an original six team to go up against and not go up against the Islanders. So I hope, they Boston for like a centennial alumni game, and then you'll get like some of these old guys that are wearing the jersey, especially Hank. Hopefully he suits up for something like that. So I told him, like, look, if you're worried about jersey fouls, like, wait for the old guys to wear it. But again, get whatever you want.
So hold up, you can't put Jockman on the jersey. That's crazy. But hold up. So you send me a jersey. I don't know who's on the jersey. It's testing the jersey curse.
Oh yeah.
So we'll see. We'll post who Oscar sent to test my jersey curse. But now on the Centennial jersey for me, I don't want to pick anyone, so I'm going to leave that up to PJ and Little Ed to pick my guy.
Oh, PJ, the pressure's on.
But I gave some parameters because PJ's first suggestion was, who did you suggest I get? It was like Susie or something.
Carson Susie.
Yeah, quick. Yeah, no thanks.
We're going to get your Urho Vakanainen on your.
I was just trying to be safe. I didn't want you to mess with Igor or anybody. I can't have it.
I was thinking Morrow, but I don't know.
Oscar, I told PJ that I would buy the opening night Morrow jersey if he made the team.
I need it. But you brought up Detroit, Oscar, and I know the Rangers announced, the 8 or so games are going to wear this, including opening night, which is going to be pretty cool. One of them, they're playing Detroit, 10 games, right, Mark? Yeah. And I think one of them, they're playing Detroit. I really hope Detroit wears theirs and do kind of like a color rush, like the red and the blue. That would be incredible.
If I'm not mistaken, November 16th, obviously that's the game inside the collar. November 16th, if I look correctly, I think they are playing them that game. Are they playing the Flyers or are they playing the Wings? They are playing a game and wearing those jerseys on the 16th.
It is against the Red Wings. That is the game. And then the Rangers, that's the theme night. So the Rangers are wearing the Centennial. So I hope Detroit does the honor too, because that would look incredible. Because you don't see it enough. I think the Red Wings, nice. The Red Wings in Toronto did that in the Winter Classic.
The leather on it is super cool.
Yeah, it's a really. It was like Oscar said. It was a really thought out jersey. It is beautiful.
Oscar, Coach Ed wants a Gordie Howe Red Wings jersey.
I'm gonna make you a Brendan Shanahan one.
Yeah.
No, Ted Lindsay or Gordie Howe.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we could do Mr. Hockey. We could do Mr. Hockey. No, but PJ.
That is that 100 patch is phenomenal.
Yeah, I gotta get one of those patches. I don't even like the Red Wings.
That is phenomenal.
But no, PJ, you were talking about like the different nights for. Sorry, Coach. Go ahead.
I was thinking of going to Detroit. This clinches it.
I'll take the ride. Let's go.
That's
now,
awesome.
And I was going to say before, I love the fact that they're playing the Panthers in the Winter Classic, but being the 100th anniversary, it should have been Rangers Detroit with those uniforms. I mean, you kidding me or what? How did they blow that?
They wanted a warm weather state to have a Winter Classic. That's why.
I understand. So do it next year.
And the Panthers are the best team in the league.
I understand
strike while the
that.
iron's hot.
I understand that. They'll be best. They'll be great next year too. They're going to be great for a while.
I think that was more of a money decision, because if you notice, the Stadium Series is also being played down in Florida as well. And I had money that one of those games aren't going to be played. And thankfully, the Rangers, where the Marlins play, they have a canopy, right? So they can close the roof when it starts raining, or if the temperature doesn't really comply with outdoor ice.
Yeah. I don't think it's going to comply ever.
Yeah,
well, I mean, at that time of year, it can get as low as like high 50s.
50s, so
I don't know. It can be high 50s in Miami around that time.
They did it in Vegas like 30 years ago.
91.
So, I think by now they'll figure it out. So
yeah,
the technology's there, boys.
Yeah,
I was looking at that. I was looking at that footage of that Vegas outdoor, Rangers Kings game. Those guys looked miserable at night. It was like warm.
It was
like
probably
65.
horrible.
Yeah. And they're like, they wanted to get the hell out of there like right away. It was brutal.
Yeah. Well, we'll
I have
see.
no
I mean,
doubt. I think it's going to be closed. I don't see how the
Has to
roof
be.
could be open. It
Has
has
to
to be
be,
closed.
yeah.
They're
And
going
it's
to
a
be
night
cranking
game,
the AC for a full week.
so
I
hold
got
up.
a
Wait.
I got a Quagmire.
It's not an outdoor game. It's a stadium game. They can't close it for the game. They can close it for the week before to keep it cold, but they got to open it for the game.
I agree.
Otherwise, it's not an outdoor game.
I agree. No, I totally agree. If they close it, it's not outdoors. It's not.
Wait, hold on. Is it the stadium game or the winter game?
We
It's
get the
Winter Classic.
Winter Classic has
It's
Rangers
the
have-
winter game. So it's being played in the winter. The stadium game. See, it's a play here.
No,
The winter
traditionally
game is being played in the winter.
No, the whole theme of the Winter Classic is it's on the outdoor pond hockey
outside.
game.
I
That's what they
know. I'm
talk
messing
about
around.
every year.
So last week, Oscar, Mark
And no one was
goes-
ever playing pond hockey in Florida, ever.
last week or the week before, I can't remember, but Mark was on and teased all the upcoming potential jerseys that we were going to have this year. And he said we should just do a whole episode on it. So here we are. Mark, I just love going after you, man. It's fun. So, Mark, what were the jerseys you mentioned? Winter Classic.
So-
we're going to get that, right?
So here's the deal. I've done some additional research, and I think Oscar, you'll back me up on this. I don't know that they're going to have. I think our alt jersey this year is going to be the Centennial jersey. I don't know if we're going to have an alt jersey.
I don't think it's been officially discontinued. I was under the impression.
I don't think it has either, but I think
Yeah.
for this year maybe. So there
mean
was
the third
there's
jersey,
your
the
regular home.
press?
There's your
Yeah.
home blue. There's your away white. There is your what would have been your alt jersey. There's what would have been your Winter Classic jersey and the Centennial jersey. That's
5 jerseys.
There should be technically 5 jerseys this year.
Yeah,
I don't know that there'll be an alt jersey or not.
I heard that the schedule for the alternate jerseys might be coming out soon. Like they have one more. This is technically the last season of the alternate, the one that we all love, especially Coach. But this is supposed to be. This is supposed to be the last season.
That's
that jersey
I like
is horrendous.
actually this year also, Oscar, you probably heard as well that so if you guys don't, the different quality in jerseys, there's the material, the mix made in Canada jerseys that Rangers only put out the blue ones, the blue homes last year. There were,
Right.
I don't know if that was throughout the whole, if other teams did, I forget if other teams did different colors, but we were supposed to get the alt jersey and the away white in the different material this year. That is said to be coming out. So
I heard, I heard new material was 2026. Like this is probably over Coach's head and Cuz's head, but
way over my head.
Yeah, the material that's going to be in the new game worn jerseys, the Authentic Pro line, right? It's supposed to change in 2026, and we're supposed to get a whole new kind of refreshed line of jerseys coming up next year for 2026.
Yeah, because they were saying when Fanatics took over, they were basically keeping the Adidas factory for the first 2 years, so there wasn't any big.
Exactly.
So then it's
Well,
for Cousin Ed and Coach to dumb it down. I think correct me if I'm wrong. Before you could only buy the breakaway, like the cheap, Fanatics version, and the Adidas Authentic. Now you can buy the breakaway, the premium one that the Rangers are selling, and there's like a $400 or $500 one. That's the actual on ice version, is what you guys are talking about, right?
That the players
Correct.
wear. Yep.
Mm-hmm. So before you could never buy that. Now I think that's what's cool about Fanatics. They're releasing that.
Right.
Well,
right.
Yeah,
Okay.
walk us through like how the material is going to be different.
Well, we haven't seen it. We haven't
Yeah.
seen.
Oh,
the
there's no
material.
like not leaks, but there's no like I don't know.
No,
whatever
Well,
it's gonna be
if
made
you
out of.
if you took a look when they did pictures, Oscar, they did pictures of the Centennial jersey, and they showed Fanatics Authentic Pro with that. So I mean, they're being made for the team. Who knows that they'll be made for us, but you'll be able to buy those. Supposedly, be able to buy those. They're gonna hopefully be making those like in 2026.
Yeah, the team working on.
So when you go to a game, I know like when I go to a game now, once I found out about authentic jerseys and I found out about the material, I enjoy wearing an authentic jersey as opposed to a a different jersey with
Yeah.
lighter material.
Fits different, feels different. Yeah, it's a really, really good. I mean, I'm hooked. You know, everybody here knows. You mean all the Eds here know. PJ, I'm like a thread nut. I always look at the thread. Oh, what's the thread count on this jersey? No, but yeah, no, I'm big on poly and twill, and yeah, you're right, Mark. It's a different feel. It feels better. But yeah, no, I was told one more year that we're getting that new material refreshed, because Fanatics is going to go all out on the unveiling of the new Authentic Pro line. With the new material, refreshed jerseys, and obviously it's going to be way more expensive.
If you really want to get under Oscar's skin, you got to wear one of those China jerseys.
Show him your McDonough jersey.
Oh no!
Yeah, you got to wear the China
no.
jersey.
Oh, is that the one with the really
Mark,
bad
I don't know if
collar?
I don't know if you know this story, but the McDonough jersey is actually a pretty funny story. I love
this story. I love this story.
My dad ordered me a Kovalev jersey from China,
a Rangers,
and they
27.
sent me a McDonough jersey, and then they traded McDonough within like 2 weeks.
So I hope you got him the right jersey, Oscar.
I'm just saying that he got traded 2 weeks later.
Out of control.
That's wild, man. Like, you can't make it up. Anyway, he was rumored to be traded, I feel like, but it's still crazy. Yeah, it's still crazy. Well, anyway, Oscar hated that jersey.
I know there's a lot of, I guess, like Easter eggs in the new jersey. So, I mean, Oscar and Mark, why don't you guys take us through some of those and I guess pick like your favorite or one that you want to talk about. I saw, one specifically, I see like the little apple with the 100. I thought that was pretty cool. I mean, I think it's pretty obvious. 100 years with the big apple.
I enjoyed. Go
ahead.
I enjoyed the inside collar with the date. I like that old school sweater collar. Exactly like Oscar said, how they made it from the 2018 jersey, because that is no joke, one of the best jerseys that the Rangers ever reproduced. Did produce rather. But the inside collar is wonderful. I was sort of hoping for
this collar.
I was sort of hoping for something like the Heritage jersey. I wanted to see New York diagonal across our chest. I thought that would have been pretty cool. Obviously the Rangers is awesome, but I thought New York across the chest would have been awesome.
Did they wear that in the
inside
80s
collar
too,
was my favorite.
New York? They wore that at some point, right? I thought I saw like a picture of like Kelly Kissio or something wearing that jersey with New York.
Like 90 and 91, they wore that, I think, as their road.
90 and 91.
You also had
78. So it was 78. They introduced the New York across the blue jersey, and then they discontinued it in 87. So that's why we have that Espo jersey, coach, that you like. With New York across the chest.
I kind of like Rangers at home and New York on the road.
New York on the road. Yeah.
I don't hate that. I don't
think we've ever done white New York on the road ever. Yeah, we've only done the NYR on the Stadium Series.
Yeah.
Was it the that white for the 2014 Stadium Series? They had New York, but it wasn't like the classic NYR jersey. It was like that metallic version or whatever they did that year.
Probably. Oh, the stadium, right? Yankee Stadium. Yeah, New York. Right. Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah. I keep forgetting because that was played in New York, but we were technically the road team against.
Yeah, that MSG tax rule.
Yeah.
I got a nice replica from that, Oscar, that you'd love. Marion Gaborik, I think.
A replica or one from Wuhan?
I don't know. At this point, it's I don't remember. Oh, so that's the inside collar. Okay. Yeah, that is nice. I like that with the year.
Yeah.
What does it say, though? I can't really see it.
It says November 16th, 1926. Yeah.
Yeah, opening night. It says, yeah, it's really cool.
That's great.
Yeah, you got the little apple.
Dude, that jersey's so nice.
Yeah,
I also noticed that around the collar is supposed to be like a sweater, which is cool. So I guess that's kind of what Coach was alluding to before.
Yeah,
they're a lot of different things
on the ice, and the goalie. Like, what Quick and Eagle are wearing, it's just going to look so damn good.
So, Oscar,
Quick's
how
pads,
how
man.
quick can you get these made?
That's a question I wanted to ask Oscar too.
I was first. I
What's the
texted
timeline on
Oscar
this?
like the day of. So I
Blanks,
What's the timeline on this?
The blanks are supposed to be hitting fanatics.com soon. So I want to say next week they'll be, you'll be able to order them on Fanatics. But
Well, I just think you're going to get a
wrong.
flood of people. So make sure I'm on that list now, or already. But
I
you're
got
going to
a
get a
couple
flood
of
of people
Gabe's.
who want that, so they might be interested to know, like, hey, the timeline for these jerseys, I'm going to make them, but this is the timeline. People might be curious other than me. So
yeah, no, I got a couple Gabe requests. So I want a Gabe Centennial as well.
And he looks good these first 2 games.
he's got to make the team for. What if he doesn't get called up the whole
Make
season?
the team. Have you been seeing him? He's fucking
It's
all over
2
the
games,
place.
Oscar.
Yeah,
You just said it's a jersey foul if the guy doesn't
2
wear the
games
jersey.
against
He's a
AHL
rookie.
players. It's like, oh,
He's a
gosh.
rookie. He might not
Preseason
even.
put a pin. Preseason episode.
Yeah, but
No, hold on. This
he'll
is
be
jersey
on the team
related.
eventually.
This is
It's
jersey
leaking in.
related.
PJ wants every guy in the prospect camp to make the team.
They're earning it. He was the best player.
They
in the
didn't
world.
earn it in the NHL yet. What did they
Hey,
earn?
You
They
guys
earned a
want a
look.
hot take then, right? Noah Lab is going to make the team.
I would love that.
I hope
And
so.
Berard
I
and
hope so.
Othman.
Hold on. They're talking about it already. Noah Lava may make this
Did
team.
you hear what Sullivan said?
I don't think
Who's talking about
Parsnip has. I don't think Parson has that 3C locked down. Not if Noah keeps playing the way he's playing.
I have the
He's-
Sullivan quote on Laba today. He
Yep.
says, and I quote, "It might be too early to have that conversation if he's NHL ready, but he certainly has performed extremely well in the early part of camp." And so when he was asked if he sees Parsonen for the 3 spot, he said Labs
He said
is one
who?
of them for sure. I know, Parsonen.
He said what?
So when he was asked who he sees in the mix with Parsonen for the 3C spot, he said Laba is one of them for sure. He said he praised his size, strength, and skating and said, I feel he's taken a big, giant step with the pace of play. So
Okay.
I don't know. He's stepping out to Sullivan. I mean, he might not make it right.
None of these guys are going to make the team, guys. They're going to Hartford. Just this is how it is. Every year it's the same thing. There's waiver issues. They're not going to waive Parsonen and lose him for nothing because Laba is going to make the, like it's just the way it's going to be. They might make it eventually, but I'd be shocked if more than one of these guys makes the team. Shocked. Berard, Othman, Perot, Laba. I'd be shocked. Shocked. Because think about it. They'd have to waive. I think Edstrom and Rempe are eligible for waivers now, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct.
So they'd have to waive those 2 if they don't make it. They got to waive Parsonen. He's waiver eligible. Radish, they just gave a couple mil or whatever. They're not going to waive him. So who,
Connor Sheary wore an A the other night, so he's
Connor Sheary's going to make it, and they're all going to be in Hartford.
Yeah, he's going to make it over one of the kids.
He's been playing well.
They're going to be in Hartford with Scott Morrow.
That's the point we're trying to make is like, yes, these kids are playing great. We should be happy about it, but like that doesn't mean they're NHL ready.
The only point
right,
I was
yes.
trying to make
Gabe-
was you
Gabe
can't get a
could be
Perot
dominating the
Yeah, 'cause you
preseason
might
and
not
training
play.
camp.
We'll bring it back to jerseys. A Gabe Pro
Yeah,
jersey
Put a
would be
pin in the
great.
conversation again.
I'll also make the point: do not buy Cousin Ed a Gabe Perot jersey or
No, no.
Well
Please
said,
don't.
Coach.
let's not
So-
test the curse on those guys.
No.
So
Well,
let's stick to
tested-
the Eddie Jockman jersey. All right, let's stick to that.
I tested it with my son to see if it's transferable, and I got him a Juan Soto onesie. And he
So far,
then
so
had
good.
like he had a pretty good year after I bought that. He stole like 10 bases in a week. He's been hitting bombs left and right. The Mets, on the other hand, but
Patrick's been stealing 10 bases. So.
I don't know. I mean, I think he might have the opposite curse. So.
I'm pumped. I'm pumped for you to see what's in your package for Junior. I think you're gonna like it.
I'm excited.
It's
I'm
not
pumped.
it's not a Rangers jersey. I figured I would leave that for Uncle Ed to get him, his Ranger jersey. This is
Nice. Put him on the spot.
this
You hear that?
yeah, that's right, Ed. I'm putting you on the spot. You're gonna be the first one to buy him a jersey.
I love it. All right, I'm excited. But yeah, you can't get a Perot jersey, dude, until he plays a game. Come on.
I've got a Perot jersey like lined up right over there.
He's like, I already
So
missed.
I can't clip this. I can't
You hear
clip
that?
this.
You
It's
hear that,
already
Mr.
stitched. It's already paid for.
I will admit, I was one of the few that got the Kako jersey in training camp before he even played. And
There
but
it is.
PJ, you
That's
got to
the
cut.
Malloy.
So, do you have a jersey curse? I mean, this is what I'm trying to say. Is this like an actual thing? First of all, if you get a regular Perot jersey, like Rangers Perot, I'm cool with that. That's different. But to get the Centennial jersey Perot, he'd have to play. How many times are they going to wear that jersey?
10 times.
Oh, that's a
10
lot of
times.
times.
10 times.
Okay,
Yeah,
well, he'd
they're
have to
wearing
play
it-
in one of
they're
those
wearing it-
games, right?
You're wearing it opening night, and they're wearing the last game of the season for shirts off your back, which is pretty cool. And then they have 8 games in between that they have different nights.
Wow.
I'll be at that
yeah.
goaltender steam night.
Yeah.
I don't think Mark, I don't think you had to say in between there because you said first and last. You could have just said
Well,
said 8 other
So hold on, I'm
Oh
about
my
to blow
gosh.
Coach Ed up because he thinks so. Opening night is a 1-set jersey. They wear it once, and that's it. And then it gets sold. And then the last game of the season, there's probably 3 jerseys worn that night. And one of the jerseys you all know, you see, they usually go to the last game. They take the jersey off their back and they give it to a fan. So
Right.
it is a separate jersey, 1 and 10. And then the 8 jerseys that probably for the special events.
Okay,
It'll
that's what I
probably
said.
be
You didn't have to say the words in between those 2 games because every other game is between those. It's
I'm
understood.
getting beat up.
Well,
No,
Mark,
but
this is how it is.
Just to touch on that, and PJ, and PJ,
Dish it
you were
back.
kind of touching on that about the different events. I mean, I think the Rangers did a pretty good job with unveiling that schedule, right? It's birth of a franchise, milestone and moments, the original 6 era. That's against the Detroit Red Wings, and then they're doing, the new Garden, and that's going to be against the Canadians, where when the Rangers first played in the '60s in the current Garden, and then they have Forever Faithful fan favorites against Buffalo, which I was, I was a little,
You're gonna lose
why
that game
Buffalo?
for sure.
Uh,
Buffalo's
then-
totally winning that game.
yeah.
Always win.
And then they have legendary blue shirts against the Bruins on January 26th. And then a century of saves where February 5th against the Hurricanes, they talk about all the goalies, the history of the Rangers goalies. And then, like Mark said, last one, blue shirt off your back. So, basically taking it off, giving it to your fan and moving on back into the modern era of the Ranger jersey. So I think chronologically what they're doing with their events night is awesome. Kudos to the Rangers for that. And it just makes you want to be there, right? Because it's going to be a special event night, a special program that they're doing for that. So, it makes you want to be there in the seats to see what they've got in store. And I hope they live up to it.
I love that Keandre Miller's going to be there for that game too, and he's going to have to watch that.
But that's goaltenders night. That's not super defenseman.
What they should do is put together a highlight reel of Keandre Miller turning the puck over and the goalie
In
making
front
the
of the
save.
goalie?
And the goalie making the save on the turnover, and play it during that game. Just get his head.
early.
Nah,
Yeah, just getting his head.
You guys are treating Keandre like he was Wade Redden. Relax. He's not that bad.
You know where you are, Oscar.
Yeah, I know. I'm a big Keandre fan.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
Well, he lost me at some point last year. I was too, but he lost me. I think the turning point for me with Keandre was when he posted that on Instagram, Ed, when he was beating up the devil, John Marino. Right? It was John Marino. Meet me in the alley with the troops or something. I was like, dude, this is John Marino. Like, what are you posting this for?
I remember being already down on him and seeing that, and I was just like, this is just typical.
It was just
so
it was so cringy, man. That was not a good look.
No.
Not a good look.
Well,
anyway.
Before we sign off, I got a little quagmire for Cousin Ed. All the Centennial patches.
Oh, nice.
That's a beauty.
Wow. I like the Bruins one too, man.
How do we rank them? Go ahead, Ed. Rank them. 1 to 6.
Which Ed? You just said Ed.
Sorry, Cuz. Go ahead, Cuz.
All right, not being biased, I gotta say I like Detroit's the most. Incorporating the logo into the 0, I think is just clever and obvious, but clever. And then I'll say 2. I like. I'm gonna say 2. It's got to be Montreal. I hate to say it, but I like the 100, and it's just the French with the English. I like that. Second, Boston 3. I'm going to say Rangers 4, Blackhawks 5, Leafs 6. I don't like the just silver
I like the
Leaf
Leafs.
there.
I like that Leafs.
Yeah, I mean, I like them all, but I just don't really like the Leafs silver 6 better than I like the 100, like with the logo incorporated. I don't know. What is the silver Leaf? Like is that an homage to something in Toronto?
Centennial.
Usually they give the silver sticks for like 1,000 games.
1,000, right? Yeah. 100. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'd say Detroit, Montreal, Boston, Rangers, Blackhawks, Leafs.
Nice. Yeah. I think I'd rank the Leafs a little higher than that, but
I think
yeah.
at least the Blackhawks and Canadians weren't very creative, in my opinion.
Yeah.
At least the other. I mean,
that's
even the
totally true.
Maple Leafs.
Blackhawks is the least creative.
Copy and paste.
Can I be a homer here? Can I just take the Rangers patch out of the equation because I think it's the best patch there? If I'm gonna say, I think it's the Red Wings, then Chicago, then the Canadians, then Boston, then the Leafs. But I can't tell you.
I agree with you, Mark.
I can't tell you. The 100th anniversary patch for the Rangers is my patch. And
the Rangers one is nice, dude.
It's number 1.
It's really nice.
I think it's creative. I like it too. I'm going Red Wings, Rangers, Boston, Maple Leafs, Chicago, or I'll go Canadian Chicago just because of the French.
I like the Canadians one a lot, the way it looks. The Chicago one looks like someone made it on Microsoft Paint. Now that I'm
they're both the same, dude. They just the Canadians is just lower.
Maybe it doesn't look the same though. It looks. I don't know.
It is exactly the same except
they
it's
are
lower.
Identical.
Yeah,
you're right. It does look.
Well, Oscar, you were negative a little bit. Obviously, we talked about the Rangers Centennial logo. What would you have changed then to make you like it better?
I mean, I love the they have like a logo typeface. So if you go on the Rangers Centennial page, they have the diagonal 100. I love that they incorporated the diagonal 100. Like, why couldn't you just incorporate the diagonal 100 in the shield? I would have kept my mouth shut. I said, "Yep, okay, that's it." You kept the diagonal. But if you go to the Centennial page for the Rangers, you see in the background they have the 100 diagonal and the shield in it. So I'm like, that's a great logo, a great patch. We can get into when where we got the shield. What's that?
I can only work so fast. Give me a second.
No, yeah, I'm sorry.
Little Ed is dominating tonight. He's producer Little Ed tonight.
Oh, really? All right.
He's killing it.
I don't know where you're talking about. I'm on the Centennial page. I don't see a diagonal hundo.
In the background. So if you go to Centennial Home.
It's like the background of the whole website.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And then they have that same logo inside, that same 100 inside a shield somewhere that I'll send you. That it looks great. And I'm like, that would have been it. That would have been it for me, and I would have been happy. But we got this instead. So yeah.
Mark likes it. I like it. So
I like it a lot, man. I like it a lot. The more I'm looking at it, I'm changing my ranking, and I'm agreeing with Little Ed. This is the second best one.
I think it's the third best. Yeah, I think it's third best of all of them.
After Boston?
After Boston.
Detroit and Boston.
Detroit, Boston Rangers, and then
really
Toronto. Yeah.
Man, that Blackhawks. You know what it is? The Blackhawks and Canadians logos are so nice that it just pops.
Yeah, look, don't get me wrong. It's a great logo. I'm currently wearing it. That's how much I hate it. But no, I like the logo.
I saw Oscar ripping it on Instagram. He shows up with the shirt. I'm like, I had to ask.
Well, yeah, no. Well, what I was ripping was the quality of the patch.
I see.
it like the quality of the patch is horrendous when you compare them to some of the other patches that we've had over the past years, like the 90th, the 85th, the Stadium Series, the Winter Classic patches. Like, I feel like when the Hank retirement patch came out, everybody was like, this feels like it was made in China and imported from China. But we didn't think anything of it. And then we're like, all right, maybe they'll come out with a better quality patch for the 100th. And no, it was, embroidered on canvas and a thin border line. I mean, I went on this whole spiel and, zoomed in on what it looked like on our heritage jersey. And that heritage jersey I think is everyone's favorite, right? It's one of the best jerseys that we've had in the franchise.
Yeah, gorgeous one.
Yeah,
Heritage is
definitely
my top.
Yeah, man. For sure. Well, boys, thank you for joining us. I'm looking forward to the Winter Classic as well, the jersey they're going to wear there. I wonder if it's going to be Miami related, kind of like the All-Star Game jersey logo and all that was with the palm trees and stuff. You don't think they'll do anything like that?
I don't know.
Nah.
It's going to be
The
I think
Rangers
it's gonna be
jersey?
pretty cool.
Yeah, I wonder
Yeah,
if
I
they'll
think
incorporate like sunshine into it or something because they're playing in Florida, dude. Like, I don't know. We'll see.
I'm hoping
Maybe
it's like Miami
If
Vice.
it was the Stadium Series, yes. The Winter Classic's different, though, I think.
Yeah, that's true. The Flyers Rangers Winter Classic jerseys is my favorite jersey that they've had. That one is, I know you guys are saying heritage, but that one is my favorite. The cream one.
I got a bold
And that was
prediction.
classy.
The Winter Classic jersey is going to be the outline of the Centennial logo, like the old Rangers logo, like that.
Okay.
Okay.
With the Rangers
it.
like old logo though. From their old
Yeah.
jersey.
We're talking about the 2012 jerseys, the cream color jerseys.
I think it was 2012, yeah. Yeah. That was my favorite jersey. He's saying the Centennial logo now is going to be the shape of the Rangers logo in the Winter Classic jersey. He's guessing.
Okay.
So we're saying different things. But.
That Winter Classic logo, though, the actual for the game is really cool with like the neon and the different like.
That's what led me to believe that there might be some sort of like Miami Vice flair in there. There might be some, you take
That's
a
what
look
I'm
at
saying.
like
neon.
Miami, they do the Miami Vice night jerseys. Like if you take
There's
Yeah.
pink,
I don't know.
yeah. There's pink in the classic, right? It's got in the typeface. It's got pink, and at the bottom it says Miami in pink.
There's
that'll
palm
be a
tree.
beautiful logo.
If I'm not correct, are there palm
The
trees?
palm
in it?
tree.
If
It's one palm tree
Yeah,
going
so
over the right by the shield, and then at the bottom it's white sands with the water. It's awesome.
That's
Yeah,
my
it might-
it might
prediction
be
right
very
here.
beachy.
You guys are all coming,
Yeah.
right?
I'll be
yeah.
down there.
I'll
All
be
right,
there.
sweet. All right.
The
This is my
Miami,
prediction
It'll be
for
a
the
day.
jersey.
the Panthers
Yeah, that's
jersey
nice,
may
eh?
have Miami Vice in it, but why would the Rangers jerseys have that?
No,
That's
I
what I
mean,
mean.
look, I don't know. We'll see.
Who knows?
That'd be stupid.
Yeah, I think
I was going to say it, but Coach
Coach
said
always with
Tell
the
us how you really
now.
feel.
That'd
Coach.
be idiotic. Come on, why put a Miami theme in the Rangers jersey? That would be in the Panthers
1926, 1926 Rangers logo, Centennial Year, Winter Classic. Book it.
jersey. Kick the
Yeah.
Panthers' ass.
I think Eddie Little Egg convinced me. Being that it's the Winter Classic, I do think they'll do something more classy versus the Stadium Series. They would probably do something Miami related. I'm just saying, I don't know. I mean, I'm curious to see what's going to happen. I have no idea what it's going to be. I don't even try to make bold predictions on this kind of stuff. I just enjoy the jerseys and listen to the experts. Now we got two of them on the show.
I feel like mostly the jerseys from those, everything jives together from team to team. That there's nothing that's too extreme that took away from the other team's jersey. I feel it. Correct me if I'm wrong,
Yeah.
Oscar. I feel like it's they wear very similar themed jerseys. I don't think there's going to be one Miami themed jersey and the Rangers are going to wear something that's going to be like
one Manhattan themed
Like-
jersey. Yeah.
yeah.
I wouldn't be. I mean, we're the road team, right? So we have to wear something light. The Panthers are going to wear something, their color scheme. Whether they wear their normal red, I have a feeling they're going to be wearing a dark color, right? Like so, they'll whip out like maybe a navy jersey, and then the Rangers would have
Or
to
like
wear
a
something
dark
light.
red.
Yeah, or maybe the Rangers incorporate, like a cream.
They had
red jersey.
Do you remember the Panthers their light blue jerseys?
The
ones that,
Panthers, yeah,
the
they had the
reverse
baby
retro.
blues,
I
man.
love those.
The
Reverse
Baby
retros.
blues
One
with
of-
the shoulder patch in the middle. Those are nice. Those are really
Yeah.
nice.
Bring back the
Um,
old Cats logo on the Winter Classic jersey. That would be pretty sick.
See, like prior to
Yeah.
the run the Panthers have had recently, I would have been like, oh, let me get an old like 90s Panthers jersey. I don't hate the Panthers. They're just here. They're local, whatever. Now I just cannot stand that team. I can't wear a jersey for
You don't
them.
you want an old Jovo Cop? I'll
I
make you
did. I wanted it.
literally a Jovo Cop jersey for you.
I wanted it.
Little Ed will take one. He's Panthers Ed over there. He's
Yeah.
I really hope that's not
seriously.
in the package you sent to him.
I'll
No.
take a Barkov
He sent
Panthers
Patrick a
jersey.
little Panthers jersey. Like, no,
He's got a Matthew Kachuk Stanley Cup jersey.
Oh my God.
Test
All right,
out that
on that
Chris
note-
really well.
On that note, Oscar, tell people where they can find you and how they can order jerseys from you or anything else if they're interested.
Yeah, nope. I'm on Instagram, Oscars PSH, Pro Stitch Hockey. That's where I live, most of the time, talking to a lot of fans. But yeah, you can find me on Instagram and reach out if you have any questions or you guys have any needs for jerseys, any questions for your dream jersey.
Yeah, and you post some examples of jerseys on there. So if you're interested in a jersey, you can go on there, look at his posts, and see what he can do. It's pretty impressive. You made the Fox baseball jersey, right? For somebody? Fox
The Mets one. Yeah. That was
That's
fun.
for my boy Jeremy, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Jeremy has one. I made a couple of those.
That was pretty cool.
One, yeah. As we know,
So-
Foxy's a big Met fan.
Yeah, you can customize things and Mark, obviously. Tell at the Blue Line Blue Shirts, tell the fans where
Yes,
they can
sir.
find you.
At the Blue Line Blue Shirts, come check it out. I'm an avid collector. There are definitely collectors out there with a lot cooler collection than mine, but I think I've curated a really nice collection. I like displaying it here in this New York Rangers Tavern, the New York Rangers Tavern that I've put together. So
You're not allowed to come on this show with diehard Rangers fans who are all collectors with a better collection than us, and then say that you don't have a good collection.
So I sent the pictures, but there are guys that I collect with, and Oscar will tell you that. I have a nice collection, but there are guys that have Messier jerseys. These jerseys are $25,000.
Oh, you mean like off his back, like crazy?
Yeah,
Literally, yeah.
Yeah. Well, this is what we talk about when the Blue Line. If you take a look at my my Instagram, a lot of the stuff that I have is game worn, played in. So I actually sent a picture to Little Ed of I have specific racks for jerseys that I wear to games, and then I keep separate my my game worn jerseys. So, but you could see it on my Instagram page, and I'm 100 followers away from 1,000, so I'm gonna try to get over that.
Let's get Mark up to 1,000, everyone.
Oh, you'll be there.
Listening or watching, go follow Mark at Blue Line Blue Shirts. Oscar, I didn't want to take away your spotlight, but we kind of discussed offering a jersey plaque along with your jersey sales. So
Yeah,
whenever you want to make that
College
official,
one.
yeah, I'd love to do that. So if you want
Yeah.
to offer that to your customers, I think we should do that together.
I got a Boston College Kreider jersey in the mix that I'm going to be putting up for sale, and we're gonna team up with one of the Boston College Eagle logos, right? That you made, the really really beautiful logo. So it'll be a package deal. The Kreider jersey with the logo. We'll sell it together as a package deal to a fan.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
That's awesome.
I just want to point out my collection includes a Gordie Howe signed bobblehead dog.
It also includes
Look at this guy.
my
flexing.
Roger Bear stick as well.
And Vic Hatfield.
Mark,
Well, I'm looking forward.
tell the listeners how you said that your 1,000th follower on Instagram that you were going to give them a game worn Messier jersey. Giveaway.
And you know what's gonna happen? They're gonna get that China dupe.
I'm gonna unfollow you real quick and then follow you and when you get $9.99.
with like a signed in crayon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I hit
To be
1K,
clear-
we'll start talking about.
To be clear, that was puffery and satire and not real. And this is not a contract. Okay?
Make sure you put the disclaimer at the bottom. Not actually.
I'm gonna have to discuss. I'm gonna have to discuss
That's
with
why.
Pepsi. You
Lucarelli.
guys see that Pepsi documentary?
Lucarelli Law is
Down
going to
in
have
Naples
to
and
step
talk to
in here and
Lucarelli
say,
Law.
guys, you can't be doing
Get Dom
that.
on for an opinion.
All right. Be banging on your door tomorrow.
All right, we're off the rails.
Yeah, fun episode, guys.
Boys, thank you so
right.
much. Seriously, PJ, great job, everything you've been doing. I mean, when I was listening to the boys, I would laugh at Ed laughing at you, like appearing out of nowhere when you had to drop a stat or talk to somebody. Like, Coach would be like, "Oh, there he is. There's PJ." So no.
Oh, what did I say wrong?
Yeah, exactly. No, you've been killing it, Peach. You and Ed, little Ed, have been doing a great job. So keep up the great work, man.
Thank you. It means a lot.
Thanks,
buddy.
Oscar. And you've been doing a great job too, man. Keep it up.
Thanks, boys. I'll see you at the Garden opening night. All right, boys.
Later.
Oscar,
Sounds
good
good,
to see you,
fellas.
brother.
And the suite.
And the suite is
Yeah,
that's
don't
what
forget
I'm
your
talking
tickets.
about. Yeah.
Oh no, we're not opening night. It's October 12th. Our suite. It's the game against the Caps on Sunday.
The suite and opening night. I'll see you, boys. I'll see you on the west balcony.
Awesome.
Roger that, man.
Get your tickets.
bro.
They're dwindling.
All right.
All right, so that's Oscar from Oscar's Pro Stitch Hockey. You follow him on Instagram, like he said, at Oscars PSH. Mark, thanks for coming on, dude. Again, thanks for all your help this summer. I'm looking forward to the season and looking forward to meeting you in person. You're going to be at the game, right, versus Washington?
Yes, sir. I'll be there.
All right.
I'll be up there, and I'll come check you guys out.
Yeah, no, for sure. So I'll be there. So we'll actually meet.
Awesome.
All
We'll
right,
get
looking
a
forward
nice
to it.
bro hug in. Yep.
Yeah,
Love you
No,
guys. Thank you for
I feel like
having me on.
I feel like I owe you one after this episode. It was a little hard. Listen, this is the way we roll, bro.
Yo, my man,
again-
I got thick skin. There's no way I've gotten through 20 years of being a police officer without taking some ribbing.
Fair enough. All right, thanks for coming on, dude. Appreciate you and
You guys
and
are the
your
best.
insight.
See you soon.
Good night,
Later,
Mark.
bud.
Love you.
Later,
Night,
fellas.
guys.
Love
Night,
you
coach.
guys.
Love you guys.
Later. All right, boys. Next week, season preview. We're finally here. Opening night is coming up. So next week we will do our bold predictions like we do every year, and we will I know we did this in the season ending episode last year, but we'll touch on what they were last year. Our bold predictions. We went real bold, I think, last year. Like maybe this year I'm a little worried if we're going to be conservative. Be like, Mika scores 5 goals, like, just to be safe. But
Keep the expectations way low this year, boys.
Yeah. We'll talk about lineup. We touched on it a little bit here. There's definitely some roster stuff to talk about. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to it, and the season's starting. So thank you.
To talk about again.
Yeah, it's just I'm a little bit excited. I watched the game yesterday. I was like, okay, I didn't get the first game because I didn't get NHL Network, but I figured it out for this game. So I was watching it. And I was like, okay, I'm getting into this again. I'm ready. Like this, let's start the year. Let's get going. So I'm getting amped.
Yeah, I'm ready. Well, yeah, again, get your sweet tickets. Tickets are dwindling. Check out Little Ed's Workshop. All our handles, if you're watching on YouTube, up top. Follow us, like us, subscribe to us. Lots more content coming.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
For sure, guys. Good episode. It was a fun one. A little off the rails, but hope you guys enjoyed. Listeners, thanks for sticking with us in the comments and in the chat on YouTube and Instagram and Twitter, X, whatever. Time for us to go. We'll see you next week.
Great job.
Yeah, off the
boys.
rails, but that was a lot of fun. And also, when the season starts, we're not going to be able to get off the rails like that. So let's get it out of our system now and go from there. All right, boys. Love you guys. Till next
Love you
week.
guys.
Love you guys.
Later.
Let's go Rangers.